Do Go On's 500th episode is coming to Melbourne at the Capitol Theatre on Saturday, April 26th, and here's a ticket update. We've now sold 80% of all tickets. So if you want to get involved, you might want to go to dogoonpod.com. That's Saturday, April 26th for Do Go On 500.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now boarding Group A. Please have your boarding passes ready to scan. If your phone is cracked, old, or was chewed up by your Chihuahua travel companion, please refrain from holding up the line. And instead, simply go to Verizon and trade in any phone in any condition from one of their top brands for the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus with Galaxy AI on Unlimited Ultimate and a watch or tab. Also, on them.
Service plan required for watch or tab. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Wonky, and as always, I'm here with Jess Perkins. And this week, we are blessed to be joined by our dear friend Michelle Brasier here.
I've got the sillies and maybe an eye infection.
There's a lot going on.
Well, there's a lot of contagious stuff happening.
It's not contagious!
What the sillies are.
Oh, the sillies
sillies
are
are.
contagious. Look
I
out!
certainly feel like I had when I couldn't get through that intro.
You were nervous to start, then you said, instead of hello, you said hello.
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 And that
Can I go?
was beautiful.
That's my new thing. 487 weeks in, I'm changing from hello to hello.
Yeah.
And welcome. And welcome.
And welcome.
Thanks for being here, Michelle.
Thanks for having me. It was hard to get here. They're doing construction.
Yeah. I think it's pretty safe to say to our listeners that we'll be mentioning that a few times over the following months.
yes.
We found out it's going to be about 15 weeks.
The street's gone.
It's
yeah,
gone.
They're digging up the entire street.
Usually they'll be like, we redirect traffic over here. On this particular time, they've said, do you know what? Actually, you're on your own.
Yeah, they've just said burn it all down, start again.
The street is gone. The path's gone. The driveway's gone. You can't get into the building.
You have
There's
to
a pile
leap
of
across.
dirt. It's sinking.
Yeah.
There was a moat.
Yeah,
there's a moat.
You got to
get
leap
into-
across a moat.
Yeah. I have dirt in my feet.
Yeah, My foot sunk
It's
into
gone
some
into
dirt.
my shoes.
And I watched the construction
It's gone
workers
in.
watch me and
Yeah.
go like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. And I'm in the platform Crocs today.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So that has to get up over the platform. That's how much dirt. And it was windy too out there. And it wasn't windy on the other streets. I'm calling the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a cursed street now.
Yeah, it's no good.
But we made it, and we're here to podcast together.
That's right. How exciting. I'll explain how this show works, shall I?
Yes.
So, one of the three of us, usually Matt, but he's away.
He's in far north Queensland. He's a long way. He's like, honestly, on the other side of the planet, basically.
Basically.
He's so
And
far
I
away.
bet they're not having any bloody roadworks up there, let me tell you.
Doesn't bloody
I
can.
don't have any roads.
Anyway, one of us researches a topic. We bring that research back to the others. We tell them all about it. And the others just listen politely and never interrupt or go on dog shit riffs or
Never.
zone out and then come in later and go, what kind of time period is this? Or what's this guy's name again? Is this the same guy as before? You know, we don't do that ever. And
Yeah, so, what's going on here?
where am I? It's usually my main question.
Yeah.
And we always get onto the topic with a question. Dave, it is your turn to do a report this week. What is your
really
question to get us
beautiful.
onto the topic?
Just hit
Beautiful.
You've hit a plant.
I was trying to do it like a dramatic stretch, like, here we go. And then there's a plant behind me that I didn't realise.
Did it scare you a little? Did you get startled by
Yes.
a plant?
Yeah.
Yes, and I'll confess I'm currently reading The Day of the Triffids for Book Cheat, where
Ooh,
plants take over.
spooky.
So I'm already on edge when I see a plant.
I think I'd be okay in a world where plants take over.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay.
Also, a meteor shower's gone over and everyone's gone blind.
Okay, that's... Oh, so I can't
Oh my
even
God,
see
that's
my
probably what's
plants.
happening to my fucking
Oh,
eye.
the meteor.
Jesus Christ. You know,
Shower.
it was the planets were all in, they were aligned or something. Actually, no, they weren't. But I thought, I read the news wrong and I thought they were in a straight line. And I told Tim about it and he didn't have the heart to tell me that that wasn't it. And he even got out the telescope and was like, well, look for him. Oh, I can't see him tonight. And then, like, eventually he had to be like, they're not going to, like, appear in a straight line. Like, that's not how it goes. And I was like, oh, thank you for letting me believe it for a long time. But every night I'd be like, let's check.
Maybe tonight.
That's very sweet and
It's something-
dumb.
They did something like it. I don't know what they did. Anyway, I saw heaps of Venus and the moon, a bunch.
It's heaps. I love that you have a telescope. I want one.
Oh, yeah. We're a pretty cool couple.
Yeah. All right. Your wild lifestyle apart.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's my question.
Wild. What are you guys doing? Missionary? We're on the telescope having a look.
Okay, here we go. The question is, who wrote the following books? Speaking of...
Michelle Brasier.
Oh, my gosh.
Imagine.
Doing a report on my memoir that came out in September.
That'd be great. All right, who wrote the following books? Mansfield Park.
Oh,
Northanger Abbey.
fuck me.
Hopefully getting easier. Persuasion.
Oh, it's a Jane or an Emily or something.
Jane Mansfield.
It is not Jane Mansfield.
She could have, though.
Is it an Austen or a Bronte?
It's one of the two, and you have to lock one in.
Is it Jane Austen?
It's
Is
Jane
it
Austen,
Emily
everyone.
Bronte?
It's Jane Austen. I'm so sorry.
I think it's the Bronte sisters.
Honestly, I toss up between doing the three of them or one Jane Austen.
Wow.
Jane won out.
Okay.
Do you guys know the Victoria Wood sketch where she's like a tour guide at the Bronte sisters' house?
Oh. I was going to say no, but that is
It's
very
really
vaguely
funny.
familiar.
I had to do that accent. I can't even remember what it is now, but I had to do that accent for The Secret Garden, the musical, and I learned it from doing Victoria Wood in that sketch. She's like, and I like to picture him in the bedroom, standing there with his slippers on, dying. With his slippers on, dying.
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen. The
Who
other
is
books,
that?
Emma, Sense and Sensibility, and I would have finished with Pride and Prejudice if
Yeah.
you didn't quite get
Are
there.
you proud of me for getting it? I mean, what was the first one you said?
Mansfield Park.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I tried to go from the most obscure to the least obscure, I think.
I've heard
Yeah,
of all
yeah.
these books, but I was like, I don't know who the fuck this is.
Are you proud I got it at Persuasion?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Because do you remember that we did it on Book Cheat many years ago?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember?
No.
Do you remember the plot, Jess?
Well,
I told you all about it.
Only because that's so funny that we've done it on Book Cheat. I've watched isn't there a Dakota Johnson version of Persuasion, I'm pretty sure?
Is it?
They've all
I
had...
never watched
I
things
go
from
through-
time periods.
I think
that
it's
aren't now.
Persuasion.
Yeah, I'm always like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm not into period dramas. Like I know
2022, yes.
I know a lot of people are their comfort show or movie is Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But it's not usually my thing. But I did
No.
watch Persuasion. It was quite funny. Like it was good. But it was a new story to me.
So at no point did you go, oh, this sounds familiar.
No, not at all.
I remember when Dave told me and Broden about it.
The-
Maybe 6 years ago.
Broden.
Really funny.
I have
You've never met Broden.
I've never met Broden in my life, so that's not true. I know
I've
you're
never
lying
met Broden
now.
either. I've never met Broden. They don't let you meet Broden.
You can't just meet Broden. You can't just have dinner with Broden not long ago.
No, you can't. Are we having dinner with Broden tomorrow at my house?
Yeah, probably.
I look forward to meeting Broden.
I can't wait to meet Broden tomorrow.
Well, if you want to have a dinner party conversation about Persuasion,
I
you tell everyone all about it.
I have
Show off.
no.
It was, to be fair, 6 years ago. It's episode 10, so
I
a
know-
long time ago.
Okay, yeah, that does make me feel a little bit better. But also, I am increasingly concerned about my memory.
So it's great to hear that both of you are very excited about Jane Austen.
I
That you
am
love her
excited about Jane
adaptations.
Austen. No, I am really excited because I don't know anything about her, and everyone. I have like a lot of friends who are always like, "Oh, you know, the Austen," and I'm always like, "Oh, yeah." Like I pretend to know that
Yeah.
I say I've read so much stuff.
Yeah, you'd love Book Cheat.
But what did they say? The Austen?
I do like, you know. Oh, they're like, oh, it's like, you know, in like that Jane Austen.
All right, and you just go,
Of
I'm like,
course,
oh my
yes.
god,
Yes.
yes, it's so
Great reference.
That is so Mr. Darcy.
Yeah.
good one.
Is that's Jane Austen?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Jane Austen.
I don't know the difference between the Bronte sisters and I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, they're all
I'm
English.
a bit uneducated
She
about this.
is not related to the others.
Yeah.
She's not a sister.
Yeah.
She's not a
And
sister.
she's older than them too. She came first.
Okay, great.
And
Yeah, I don't know a lot about like Jane herself, but I do like the idea of a woman from that long ago still being, you
Quite
know,
famous
and widely regarded.
Icon.
I like that.
And people say she's funny, so I should read her. But I just can't get past all the
Vowel. I know she's not a vowel, but
But
you
you
know
do
what I
have a
mean.
bit of a piss take of those people as well.
Oh,
which is
maybe
fun.
I'll
So you
like
might
it.
Oh, we like
that,
piss
yeah.
takes.
I might have
Yes.
misunderstood.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about it. I'll go into the books a little bit so you'll see. Maybe you'll pick one out that you'd like to give a shot.
Okay.
But people suggest these topics, and thank you to Kyle from Ohio and Amanda May from Watkins Glen, New York, for suggesting Jane Austen. Thank you very
York.
much.
New York.
So let me tell you about Jane Austen. She was born on December the 16th, 1775.
No, see,
Long
that
time ago.
is too far back.
17.
What generation is that? Millennial? Yeah.
Elder
Elder.
millennial.
Yeah,
Yeah,
elder
millennial. Yeah. You know, the cringe ones.
The ones who go on Facebook and say, "Hey, chickie." They're using all the
did a thing.
emojis.
That sort of thing.
We
yeah.
did a thing.
Yeah.
Classic. So she's like that.
She did a lot of things.
Yeah.
She was born in Steventon, Hampshire, in England. She was the 7th child and second daughter of Reverend George Austen, who served as an Anglican rector.
7th of how many?
7th heaven.
Or was she the baby?
I
that
think
about her?
she's the 7th of 8.
That's rough.
Too many kids.
A lot of kids. And his wife was Cassandra. We'll talk about her in a minute. George was from an old family of wool merchants, but at the time, the family fortune was passed down to the eldest son, a societal quirk that Jane Austen would frequently write about, and that's like a plot point for a lot of her writing. And this meant that George's side of the family were in poverty, and he was orphaned as a child, also, which is not so good. So the older brother gets all the money and taken in by a wealthy uncle who later brought him a rectory to live at. So,
Okay.
What's a rectory?
like a place where the priest lives.
House.
Yeah, a house. House for
I
priests.
was going to call it like
Priest house.
a priest hole,
Priest hole.
but they actually exist. They're those things that they'd hide in.
Oh, yeah. They'd hide the Catholic priests,
yeah,
right?
people coming through it.
My family did that.
Get in the priest hole.
My family was hiding Catholic priests in the Troubles, I think.
Ah, in the
Yeah.
priest hole.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which
Pop
I've
them
just
in the hole.
realised I look forward to coming back to Belfast at the end of the year and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
So whilst a student at Oxford, he met his future wife, this is the father George, met his future wife Cassandra, who Britannica describes as a woman of ready wit, famed for her impromptu verses and stories.
Oh, she's a real
She
Michelle
sounds
Brasier.
just like hot.
Yeah.
She sounds crazy.
She's cool.
Just like, she's just riffing. She's improving.
All the time.
You know?
Wow.
You
a
there, give me an
raconteur.
occupation. All right.
Yeah. And a a rectory.
Yeah,
Great.
Mum.
Priest
rectory. Just please be my mum. I need help. They got engaged, the parents, when they, quote, exchanged miniatures.
What?
Which is an old-fashioned tradition I
Like
haven't come across,
Funkos.
where they they exchange miniature portraits of one another, and that symbols that, hey, we're betrothed.
Oh.
So hang on. If I'm proposing to you, am I giving you a portrait of me?
Yeah, and I'll give you one of me, and it's like, hey,
Wait,
don't forget me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
I
you can't just walk around like carrying portraits of people you don't like fuck. You know what I mean?
That'd be weird.
you can only do portraits of people you're fucking.
That's right.
Or, like,
Famously.
and fucking to marry, you know?
Oh, of
No,
course.
I'm not one of these people who just fucks around. I fuck to marry.
I fuck to marry.
So we don't look at your wall and there's like 50 portraits up there.
No.
But yeah, but she's been married 50 times.
Yeah, I'm very unlucky in marriage.
Yeah.
So together, these people exchanged portraits. They did get married. They had 8 children.
Too many.
Jane being the second youngest. And as was common at the time, as a 3-month-old, all their siblings did this apparently, she was sent to live with a wet nurse, raised, breastfed by this other woman down the street, and then returned to the family when she was walking.
Okay.
So it's like...
They just sort of outsource.
Yeah, the hard bit. You take care of her when she's really young, grow her up to a bit till she's about, between 12 and 18 months. Whenever she's walking, then she can come back to the family. Isn't
Imagine
that
being
wild?
a woman whose job it is to just have like fat naturals on tap.
Yeah, I think...
Sorry.
What I was,
That's quite rude.
what I was reading was...
But like, that's a good job.
implied that it was her siblings had also gone to this same woman.
Yeah,
Wow.
right. For the
That
natties.
was the job, yeah.
That's a bizarre.
Drink the
I've
nectar.
never heard of it, but apparently it was
No.
common for the time.
See, I knew about wet nurses, but I didn't know you'd go and live with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was. I'd heard of wet nurses, but I thought they were more like an employee in the house.
I thought they lived in the
Yeah,
house.
or like if the mother can't breastfeed or something,
Yes.
so you outsource. But
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is more like,
This is pre-formula.
hey, I have 6 other children.
Yeah.
I can't have another one.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
busy.
Running it, like not,
So don't get pregnant.
Yeah, don't get pregnant. Get the marina. Just get them to put it in.
Honestly, it's not that
I
hard.
don't know why these women. They're bad feminists, these women.
But they are employing another woman.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So if they stop having kids, she's out of work.
She's out of work.
so actually, they're supporting a
Sure
local
she'd
business.
find a job with those
She
naturals.
she was stoked when she would hear Jane Austen's mum be like, I'm pregnant again. She'd be like, yes.
Yeah, making that cash.
There's another year at
Because like
least.
if you're breastfeeding, you sort of have to maintain breastfeeding, or the milk will dry up.
Yeah,
so
you
she
gotta
kind of
keep-
needs
keep
to
it
have
going.
like, yeah, I've got availability in April.
Yeah, and I
so
need
you-
to
you're
keep
gonna have
going.
to
I'll
book
have
me
some
in.
milk. You can reserve the milk.
Yeah. You need to give me 6 months' notice. I've got a wait list.
I am astounded that you can breastfeed without having a baby.
She must have been.
Don't you have a baby first, probably to get your own supply in,
and then
But then it just doesn't
keep
stop.
it going. If you keep it going,
if you keep breastfeeding, it'll keep going.
I reckon you can do it without.
You can just will it.
Yeah.
Just let it happen.
I reckon I can do it right now.
Think about it.
Could you not? We are at work.
We don't want to let down the student.
Oh, okay. You don't want a woman breastfeeding at work. Okay, so we haven't come that far, have we?
We have.
Okay.
You could use a dark little room around the corner.
No, I want to be here in the fluorescence. These beautiful,
In front of the
flattering
cameras.
fluorescence.
Camera rolling.
Whacking out one of my fat naturals.
And we have
Stop. That's
for
the
Dave?
quota of fat naturals.
Fat naturals is funny.
It's very funny. We've hit the quota.
And there's no baby to feed, so what are we...
What's she doing?
I'm going to stop saying it.
Just have a break.
Don't worry. The good news is that Jane Austen will stop being a baby soon.
I've never micromanaged a guest before, but
Yeah, you've never put a quota on being like, that's enough for me.
It's a really hectic thing to say. The first time I said it, I was trying it out.
I do enjoy it.
I think someone said it. I think Chloe Pett said it. And I was like, whoa.
Fat naturals, very funny
I just want to
stuff.
try it in my own mouth.
Anyway, we really got lost on
Sorry.
wetness for a bit
Wetness,
there.
but don't worry, she's going to grow up.
And then she's walking, so then she goes back to her
Back to
family
mum.
and
they're
has to get to know them.
Great.
Yeah.
Hi, who are you again?
Yeah.
Jane? Did we call you Jane?
Was it Jane or was it Gillian? I can't remember.
Okay. So the Austen household had moved by the time she'd come along to the Steventon parsonage where they're living in the rector's house. And it does sound like the family had a fun time together. This is again from Britannica. The great family amusement was acting.
Ah.
They were a lively and affectionate family, and Patriarch George has been described as a scholar who encouraged the love of learning in his children.
Aww.
He had amassed a large personal library at home, and his kids were encouraged to read whatever they wanted.
Wow,
Nice,
that's so
cool.
lovely.
So yeah, that was great for their self-education. The family would also play word games with riddles and poems and played charades to amuse each other.
Nah, that's good.
That's nice.
They would also stage plays with friends in the rectory's barn, put on little shows.
Wow. I love that.
So it's a fun time.
This is my perfect childhood.
But they weren't very well off and lived on Father George's rectal salary, rector salary. Bit of fun there.
Dave, had you written that joke? That's good stuff.
Yes, I had.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
But I had forgotten by the time I got to it. So I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
It was a genuine delight for you as well.
Oh.
Ooh.
But they were surrounded by the middle class and by minor landed gentry in their surrounding village and neighbourhood, and they went on short visits to Bath and London. So they're not very well off, but they were exposed to other people who were quite well off.
Okay.
Not the top echelon of society, sort of upper middle class. And all of this would go on to inspire the setting for many of Jane's future novels, usually set in the minor landed gentry, so to speak. Young Jane had access to the wider world through her brothers as well. Francis, known as Frank, and Charles were officers in the Royal Navy and served on ships around the world and saw action in the Napoleonic Wars. Henry became a clergyman like his father, and James was an officer in the militia and later a banker. Henry and James also wrote, and they jointly founded a largely humorous weekly paper called The Loiterer while students at Oxford.
That's fun.
So they're all the creative types, but then also, because she's the youngest one and they're a bit old, they're going out and coming back with stories from around the world. The Jane Austen North America Society writes that her other brother, Edward, was adopted by wealthy cousins called the Knights, becoming their heir and later taking their name. Jane would visit their large estate, exposing her to the privileged life of the landed gentry. This is the actual upper class, which was also reflected in her fiction. Imagine your cousins, they've got no male heir, so they just go, you're in.
Oh, that's
You get the title, you get all the money.
I was confused as to why that happened, but yeah, they didn't have a male, so that we need to borrow one.
Yes, and actually is, I don't know if you remember in Pride and Prejudice, that is a major plot point is that there's the 5 Bennet sisters. But
Elizabeth.
Yep.
I've never seen it. So sorry. That's all. I was excited.
Kitty,
Kitty.
Pippi.
Kitty is definitely one.
Kitty is one?
Yes.
Pippy.
Kitty, Pitty, and Lily May.
Is there a Jane?
Maybe,
if you want.
There
Mary?
might be a Jane, Mary, yeah.
Oh,
These are all
Elizabeth?
classics. Yeah,
We
you
said
said
that.
that.
The Jane Austen.
That's the main one.
Let's
fans
say Pride and
are
Prejudice. Just how many
furious.
have we got here?
Is one Pippi?
I can't wait to see this.
It's definitely
Pippi.
Kitty.
I played Pippi in Pride and Prejudice.
Lydia's the one we didn't get. Jane,
Yep.
Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty, and Lydia. Anyway, so the
Not bad.
plot is that they've only got daughters, their parents, and their house has been entailed to a wealthy, or to a cousin, because he's a man.
Fuck that.
So they don't have any future to look forward to. So the parents, especially the mother, I should say, is desperate to marry the girls off to assure their future.
Right. So
That's what happened to her brother.
Yeah,
Got
okay.
the inheritance. I'm not sure if they had sisters that he was usurping, but that is, I only just put that together, that happened to her brother.
Wow.
yeah, okay. So in Pride and Prejudice, the mum wants them to marry to then have kids, to hopefully have a boy. So there's an heir? Or
Also, marry a wealthy man
So that they're
to be
looked
looked
after.
after
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they've got no money of their own and they're going to be kicked out of the family home soon.
I have no money. That's
Yeah.
what
By
I've
their
seen from
cousin?
it.
Yeah, by their
and
cousin,
he's-
yeah.
Yeah.
Why won't he just let them live there?
Because he's not a great guy.
Yeah.
I got a great guy of a cousin.
Really?
Yeah, he's called Tim. I really like him.
No, that's your partner.
Oh, sorry.
Is it also your cousin? We should be checking.
Yeah. No, I do have a cousin called Tim, but they're different guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
different Tims.
Yeah.
Both good guys?
Both good guys.
All
That's good
Tims
to
are
know.
good guys. All Tims.
Yeah, I've never met a bad Tim, I
No.
don't think.
I don't think I've met a bad Tim either.
Nah. I've got an Uncle Tim. He rules.
Yes.
Tim Allen?
Tim Allen. He's great. Not problematic.
Tim the Tall Man Taylor?
Tim, same guy.
Same
but
guy.
still great.
Still
That's the
good.
same guy. I didn't
You didn't.
I didn't know. That was the same
That's Tim Allen.
man.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet.
M. Night
Chalamet.
Shyamalan.
Okay. No, now you've lost it, Dave.
Word association, though. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Charmaine.
Yeah, how do we go? Where do we go from M. Night Shyamalan?
A Knight's Tale.
We have got the sillies.
Oh,
Heath
yeah.
Ledger.
Paul Bettany, also in
Oh,
that.
Now
I
we're back.
love Paul Bettany. My brother's name was Paul. He was cool.
And he wasn't your cousin.
He was not my cousin.
But the circle's
But he
complete
got along
because
well
we've
with my
got...
cousin.
Yeah. That feels like
He knew Tim, my
that's a
cousin.
closed loop because it's
Yeah.
two
Yeah, we did
good
it.
family members that knew each other. I think
Yeah.
that's good.
We did it.
It's good. It's
Oh my god, my Uncle Tim's married to my auntie, Paul. Pauline.
I love
But we call
the
it
only
Paul.
way to connect your brother and your cousin was to go the long way around.
You have to go via Shyamalan or you can't make it. That's a new fun game. It's a new fun game. It's called Cool Guy Called Tim.
Cool guy.
And you have to connect him to a ball.
Via
Via
M. Night
Shyamalan.
Yeah.
So that's all her brothers. But her absolute bestie was her older sister, Cassandra, who was almost 3 years her senior, and the two were very close their entire lives.
Was her mother Cassandra as well?
Yes.
So this is Cassandra Jr. Love that.
Cassandra Jr.
Cast you. The reason we know a bit about Jane's personal life away from writing is because of Cassandra. It's because of Cassandra.
It's because of Kendra from Real Housewives of Hugh Hefner. What's that show called? The Playboy Mansion. Do you remember that? Do you remember
yeah.
Kendra?
They really
100%
should have
I do.
renamed it The Real Housewives of You.
Yeah, they should.
That's so funny.
Kendra ruled. She was like, I could lose weight by sleeping more. She's like, less waking hours, less meals. And I was like, that's crazy.
Wow. So crazy, it just might work.
Yeah. Kendra might be a genius.
Yeah, she might be. Sorry, you go.
So the reason we know about Jane's personal life away from writing is because of Cassandra, but the reason we don't know that much is also because of Cassandra.
Oh.
Because the two wrote thousands of letters to each other back and forth as adults, but when Jane died, Cassandra destroyed most of them, and only about 160 survive.
Wow.
What?
And that's where a lot of our info comes from. I guess she didn't know her sister would become one of the most celebrated writers of all time.
Yeah.
Or maybe she did and wanted to protect her sister, who apparently could be quite scathing and snarky in her letters. Writing about meeting people and being like, oh, can you believe what they were wearing?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah,
That's
Jess,
good.
delete my text
Babe,
when I die.
Of course.
Just protecting her. This is something she wrote to Cassandra
Getting
after.
rid of all those voice notes.
Oh, yeah, dude, never
my
keep
God.
a voice note. It's not right.
Yeah. And if you say anything bad, it's AI.
That's
Yeah,
AI.
that's AI.
That's AI.
It's AI. This is something she wrote to Cassandra after attending a ball. I danced twice with Warren last night and once with Mr. Charles Watkins. And to my inexpressible astonishment, I entirely escaped John Lyford. I was forced to fight hard for it, however.
Oh.
Cop that, John. So apparently that's only the tip of the iceberg. She was apparently quite...
She's
She's sass.
Yeah, she was sassy.
Oh my God, I love her. What am I doing? Living my life not reading those books. God, there's so many books. I'm going to have such a good time.
So many.
You have so much to look forward to.
You know when you watch episode 1 of a show that's been like, you watch episode 1 of like Ally McBeal and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I like this. Oh, I have such a future.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
so
Rich
much.
and bounteous future I have.
This is
That's
going to
how
be
I
a
feel.
wonderful journey for me.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
That's what you've got. So back to their youth, the sisters were sent to boarding school together. Jane was originally not to go as she was considered too young, but ended up attending along because in their mother's words, if Cassandra's head had been going to be cut off, Jane would have hers cut off too.
Oh,
That's so nice.
that's cute.
I love that.
So they both went and both caught typhus, which almost killed Jane.
That's so nice.
She's like,
That's nice.
Cassandra's got typhus, I want it too.
I'm
Yeah.
getting typhus.
Yeah.
She recovered, but sadly their education was soon cut short by financial difficulties and they were sent home. And she would remain, this is Jane, with her family for the rest of her life.
Oh.
She would remain as a Jane.
Yeah, is that what you said?
So she would remain with her family
She remains
for the rest of her life. And I'll talk a little bit about her personal life coming up.
Oh.
She began writing in bound notebooks when she was young, writing plays, verses, short novels, and parodies of existing types of literature.
Did she write Scary Movie?
What a great idea that
I love
was.
Jane Austen's work. I love the scary movie.
Love Scary Movie.
So she wrote these from the ages of 11 to 17, and she called the 3 notebooks, this is very genius, Volume the First, Volume the Second,
And?
Scary Movie.
Oh, damn it. I didn't say Tokyo Drift fast enough. Damn it.
No, there was Volume the Third, and she really did experiment with some wild stuff. Catherine Sutherland, a professor of English at the University of Oxford, writes, Jane Austen's earliest writings appear to have little in common with the restrained and realistic society portrayed in her adult novels. By contrast, they are exuberantly expressionistic tales of sexual misdemeanor,
Yes,
of female
queen!
drunkenness, and violence.
Whoa.
Oh my God, I want to read. Are these available?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Go off.
Some have murder and violence, which you don't come across in her famous novels. I will warn you about that.
No.
One theme that does appear early and across all 3 novels and would be a staple of her future novels as a young writing is the portrayal of confident, willful, even rebellious young women. So that was always the theme for her. OxfordStudent.com describes the plot of a story called The Beautiful Cassandra, probably named for her sister, but maybe her mother. Not sure. This is how it describes the story. In this abruptly random tale, Cassandra, so random, a milliner's daughter, shamelessly steals a bonnet from her mother's shop and then romps around London, gluttonously devouring the pastries she sees in a bakery, ignoring any eligible bachelor on the street, and outright refusing to pay her coachman.
Go off.
So just going on like
Crime spree.
the 18th century version of a wild night out.
Yeah.
Just having pastries.
Ignoring
flipping
men.
off guys. Yeah, or ignoring them. Just being like, no, and then not paying the coachman. Wild stuff.
Incredibly rude to ignore a man. If you see a man on the street, you must acknowledge.
hat.
You must tip
You
your hat to
must.
the man. I doff my cap to you, sir.
I doff my stolen bonnet to you. In another story called The Visit, this is very fun, you'll love this. The rules of propriety are shattered by having the male guests of a dinner party sit on the women's lap due to a lack of chairs.
That's so good.
And one character, a woman, drinks a glass of wine in one go.
Oh, what?
Wild stuff.
That's
That
wild
is
stuff.
outrageous.
That's crazy.
You can't allow women to do that.
No.
That's very unbecoming of a lady.
We're supposed to have straws.
Sips only.
Sip from a big straw. Where was that woman's curly straw?
There are some unexpected things in there too. One woman in one of the story loses 2 fingers when her son bites them off.
The fuck?
Yeah.
That's fun.
So yeah, she's just having a go. Austen's History of England, as she wrote it, was a parody of history written when she was 15. It is a spoof, or spoof, whichever way you pronounce that word, account of England from Henry IV.
It is a spoof.
It's a spoof. Edit as appropriate. Spoof or spoof.
Spoof. In what word?
In Matt Stewart's world, it's a spoof.
Oh my God, I listened to
He loves the spoof.
an episode of the podcast recently where you were talking about something about pronunciation and he was saying conquistadors.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, oh no.
Because you've had that exact conversation with him once before. I remembered it.
I have. And I was glad you brought it up.
Conquistador. And you're like, nope.
No, very close. Anyway, tell us about the spoof.
Oh, yeah.
Spoof.
Her spoof account of England was called The History of England, from Henry IV to Charles I, as told by, quote, a partial, prejudiced and ignorant historian. Bit of fun.
That's fun.
Love
That's
that.
fun.
And Austen's sister Cassandra created illustrated portraits for the history, so they accompanying
a
illustrations. Yeah. And many of them looking more like men and women from the time rather than regal figures of the past. Professor Sutherland from Oxford noted that Henry VII looked particularly haggard.
Oh, wow.
Which is so brutal. There you go. After the notebooks between 1793 and 1795, when she was 18 to 20, Austen wrote Lady Susan, a short epistolary novel made up of letters back and forth. It was first published almost a century later in 1871, and Britannica describes it thusly. So this is one of her very early novels. This portrait of a woman bent on the exercise of her own powerful mind and personality to the point of social self-destruction is, in effect, a study of frustration and of women's fate in society that has no use of her talents.
Huh.
So she wrote that when she was like 18 years old. But like I said, didn't get published for a century. But since Austen's novels are so deeply concerned with love and marriage, there has been much attention and debate about her own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It is a source of fixation amongst scholars, fans.
Been there.
They can't get enough.
Yeah.
The Perkins story, tell us about it.
No.
Tell us.
50
I won't.
portraits on the wall.
I won't.
All marriages. All gone badly.
All dead.
Yeah.
Nothing suspicious.
All ending in a large insurance payout
Yeah.
for yours truly.
I'm doing very well. They're all dead.
So Jane Austen, she remained unmarried throughout her life, although had a few admirers and at least one proposal.
Okay.
First up was an Irishman called Tom Lefroy, who visited
Very Irish name.
Tom Lefroy.
Lefroy.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Very
Lefroy.
Irish.
Who visited
The
Stephen...
Dublin Lefroys. Yes, we all know the family.
You know them well. He visited the house where she lived when Austen was about 20. He had moved to London to study law and was spending the Christmas holidays with his uncle and aunt who lived nearby. Lefroy and Austen would have been introduced at a ball or another neighbourhood social gathering of some such, and it is clear from Austen's letters to Cassandra that they spent considerable time together. She writes, I am almost afraid to tell you how my Irish friend and I behaved.
Oh.
Imagine yourself everything most profligate and shocking in the way of dancing and sitting down together.
What is
What?
profligate?
Yeah.
Can you look up the dictionary definition of profligate?
Recklessly extravagant or wasteful in the use of resources.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh.
So they were being really extravagant in sitting down together
Yes.
Okay.
and really extravagant in dancing.
In the way of dancing.
Whoa.
But is she implying more there?
Yeah, I think so.
And sitting down together.
Yeah.
She's fucked this
I've seen
guy.
Bridgerton. I reckon I'm reading more into it.
Oh my God.
It's not proper to be seen doing those things, but if you keep it quiet.
That's right. If you just fuck on the stairs.
That's right, where nobody's...
Where the servants certainly won't just walk in on you at any
And the
moment.
servants, they zip lip.
Yeah, and the servants who almost certainly have to clean it up.
Yeah.
Awful stuff. Awful stuff.
God.
But they're just servants, Dave. So who cares?
Exactly. Sorry. I
Don't
forgot.
worry about,
Worry about it.
I forgot their
them.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Tom Lefroy. They saw each other a few times over a couple of months, but he moved back to London to study. Unfortunately, so they moved apart. Jane Austen House Museum describes the parting. He returned to London and in 1796 became engaged to a Miss Mary Paul. Paul.
Paul.
Paul.
Wow.
Okay.
It all connects.
She must be
Wow.
great.
Who was the sister of a friend. They married 2 years later. He rose through the ranks to become Lord Chief Justice of Ireland.
Wow.
Which is very high up.
Oh.
Years later, when asked about Jane Austen, he said that he had loved her, although he qualified this by saying it was a boyish love.
Oh, wow. I've matured.
No,
Probably
what he means is I wanted to fuck Jane.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I'm a man. I understand that I need to marry this woman from this family or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably his wife Mary was elbowing him like, what the hell?
Excuse me.
You
Yeah.
loved her?
Excuse me.
It was a boyish, it was just a crush. Jeez,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah,
Chill out.
yeah.
Not like you, babe. You're my everything.
Babe, you're my forever home.
Okay. You're my whole world, baby.
Baby, you're my whole world.
Mary, baby, I love you.
Mary,
Mary,
baby.
baby.
Mary, give me a kiss, baby.
Please.
Come here.
Mary, stop being so crazy. Mary, come here. Mary.
So that's Tom Lefroy. As for the marriage proposal I mentioned,
Oh, yeah.
Austin received one from Harris Bigwither.
No.
Shut up.
Nah.
This is why I haven't read the books.
These
These names are the dumbest fucking
I
dumb
almost glossed over her personal life because I was like, it's one of those things that people speculate about. Who really cares? It's not that important. But Harris Bigwither came up, and I needed to mention this man's name.
Harris
Bigwither. He was a 21-year-old, 6 years her junior.
Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah. Go off.
Jane was feeling the pressure of having no financial security, and Harris Bigwither was due to come into a large fortune.
Yeah.
So she accepted the proposal, but got cold feet and withdrew her acceptance the following day and ran away to lay low at a house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that rules being like, yes, I will marry you.
Oh, what am I doing?
It's like in primary school when Alex gave me a note and it had a ring in it.
Oh.
And
Whoa.
I gave him back the ring the next day.
Yeah.
But you kept the note.
I kept the note. The most precious part.
He could have stolen that note from his mum, Jess. You shouldn't have kept the note.
Shit.
That was crazy.
I should have kept the ring.
You should have kept the ring. That could have been worth something.
Yeah. Where did he get that from? Definitely stole it from his mum.
He stole it, yeah.
It's a
That's a
proper-
stolen ring. Yeah.
A full-on rock.
What could have been?
It's his mum's engagement ring.
Mum's freaking out.
Insurance
$5,000.
claim.
Oh, my God.
That's how mum's talk.
Oh, my God, where's it gone?
Now be the mum, like, asking Alex if he stole her ring.
Alex, now I need to sit you down and ask you a question now. You tell me the truth, young man. Did you or did you not steal Mummy's engagement ring?
She's 25. She's a young mum.
Yeah. Please, I need to know where it is. If your father finds out, he'll absolutely crucify me. We can't afford a replacement.
Dave has a drama degree, and I love to just give him an opportunity to use the space
It's
wherever he
use
can.
the whole space. What was your favourite thing about doing a drama degree?
Probably lying on the floor for half an hour pretending to be a starfish.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I feel like I really became that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was so nice. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. I love that. That's awesome.
Did you ever did that starfish?
Oh, I did
Sure.
starfish. We actually had this class that was like Alexander technique, but I think the teacher was just kind of like, oh, who cares? And we had this bit where like you'd kind of just do yoga for a bit, and then you'd get in pairs, and the other person would cradle your head.
Oh, that'd
Like
be nice.
they would take the weight of your head in their hand. You'd lie down, and they would just take the weight of your head in their hands, and it was magnificent. And I was like, I love to be an actress. So to every set I go
just like-
on,
Yeah.
they do that.
Guys, should we do the Alexander thing? Should
Should we just do a bit of Alexander technique to warm up? Sorry, I'm a bit of a serious actress. so-
Yes, thank you, Five, but if we could just do a quick...
You're there, Sam Worthington. Hold my head.
Hold my head.
Sam, did you want to hold my head first, or do you want me to go for hold your head? Sam Worthington, hello?
Sam, hello?
Hello.
Mr. Hemsworth. We're going to do a little... if
Gonna go head for head.
if you wouldn't mind holding my head. Those big arms are yours.
So, we're not 100% sure why she knocked back the marriage proposal. There's no, real documented evidence of the reasoning, but we get some impression about how Jane felt about marriage from an 1814 letter to her niece, Fanny Knight, who had...
This can't
All right.
go on.
Come
like
on,
this.
guys. It's Fanny night.
I almost got through it.
Fatty night. Valentine's
I think the most
Day.
important part about a relationship is keeping things interesting. So we've got we go out for dinner on Tuesdays. Thursdays is Fanny night. Saturday night we go movies. And that means different things for American and British listeners. And I think that's fun too.
That is beautiful. I think actually it's funnier if you're American, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fanny night.
Fanny night.
It's a real privilege.
Thursday night is Fanny Night. So,
And then we go to the local picture house for on Saturday night. It's nice.
So, This is 1814, her letter to Fanny Knight. This is many years later, but this is her talking about marriage.
To her niece.
Sorry, yes, her niece. Sorry, what did I say?
Oh, no, I'm just confirming for myself.
No, I'm
To
just,
her Fanny.
To her Fanny. She's saying to her Fanny.
I'm all hot and flustered, okay?
Sorry, I talked about Fanny
embarrassed
Knight,
me.
and that's private.
How did you know it was Thursday? Also, podcast.
After the podcast. I'm
It's
always
a
very
big
horny
day. It's a
after
big
the
day
podcast.
Thursday for us. So, Fanny had asked advice about a serious relationship, and Jane wrote back telling her that, having written so much on one side of the question, I shall now turn around and entreat you not to commit yourself farther, and not to think of accepting him unless you really do like him. Anything is to be preferred or endured rather than marrying without affection.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, that's pretty advanced.
So she just didn't
advanced
love
thinking.
him.
To be like,
Yeah.
married for love.
Yeah.
At least like him.
At least like you got to like the person.
Yeah.
Which is possibly says that her proposal
She didn't
from
love
Big
him.
Wither
Big wither.
wasn't to her like.
But so-
It doesn't matter how big your wither is. It matters who the person is.
That's right.
Yes.
And he was 21, so she was like 27.
Yeah.
That's a big, at that age of life,
That's yuck.
that's a big difference.
That's
You know what I
yucko.
mean? Now, like, even you go like 41 and 47, nothing. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're the same age.
They're the same age.
21 and 27 is that you have a lot of growing to do in that time.
Yep.
Maybe she was just like, I think I've got to leave Harris to just like do some growth. He needs to do a Kentucky.
He needs,
Or he needs to
do
move out of
Find
home.
yourself.
Get a share
Yeah.
house.
He needs to get in a share house for a bit.
Learn to cook a couple of meals for yourself.
Exactly.
Make
right.
some mistakes.
Yeah.
Make some
Get some dumb
mistakes.
tattoos that you regret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join a drama club.
Join
Have
a-
someone hold your head.
That's
Have
right.
someone hold your head.
Learn the
Hold
Alexander
someone's
technique.
head. Learn to accept someone holding your head. Learn to hold a head in your hands.
Yes, just a lot of head. That's what I'm hearing.
Go get head.
Yep.
Go get head.
Fanny Knight.
Fanny night. Set up your own Fanny night and then come back when you've got some experience.
Yes.
So they never got together. Jane never married. Her sister / bestie Cassandra also never married. She was engaged to a former pupil of her father, a guy called Thomas Fowle,
No.
who sadly...
Mr. Fowl!
Mr. Fowle.
No.
And it went badly for him, I'm afraid. He sadly died of yellow fever whilst they were engaged, but before they could be
Oh,
married.
shit. Oh, okay. So she loved him.
Yes, apparently. I think he was working in the Caribbean somewhere. He got ill. And by the time she found out, like, it had been months, like, he was dead and buried, sadly. I think
that's
so.
sad.
Oh, that's so sad.
So, yeah. So, from then on, the two sisters were pretty inseparable and lived together a lot of their lives. Which is also another reason why some of it's not documented, because you're not writing a letter to someone that you're
Yeah.
sharing a bedroom with. Or,
I just got so excited. I was like, oh my God, they live together. Okay, maybe they were together. Then I was like, they're sisters.
Yeah,
They're-
sisters.
No,
No, these are just
not
genuine.
lesbians. They
Yeah.
were just
it's not that
sisters.
classic story of, my Aunt Dot actually never married. She just lived with this lady,
friends
Heather,
in their
for
one
like 40
bedroom.
years,
Yeah.
one bedroom place. Yeah, they did everything together, Heather and Dot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically thought of Heather as another auntie. Yeah, lovely lady. Lovely lady. It's not
sad
that.
they never found men.
Yeah, it's so
gosh.
sad, but at least they had
4
the
decades alone
companionship.
in one way, but sadly they never had a Fanny night.
They
Never
went
had
on
Fanny
cruises
night.
together.
All kinds.
Lots of rainbow flags on their cruises. Yeah, they had a great time, those two.
Lovely time. I think we should bring back lavender marriages. Don't you think?
I'm not sure if I
Wouldn't
know the
that be
term.
fun?
Which is a lavender
A lavender
marriage?
marriage is a marriage between a lesbian and a gay man.
Oh,
that's
okay,
nice.
right.
I just
yes.
think that's so fun.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's fun for me.
Back.
Like, that's fun. Like, I love Tim, but I reckon the house would be cleaner if he was gay. Like, I think about my best friend, and that's a huge stereotype, but I'm stereotyping because my best friend, James, very, like, he cooks, he cleans. He's the best. And I sometimes think, oh,
Should have married James.
could have married James.
Yeah. But what's in it for
We
James?
live together well. No, he gets to, like, have sex with whoever he wants,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm there for fun. I'm like, good vibe, like Lady Gaga has a new album.
Yes, that's right. You could be plus one for each other if you
Plus
have
one.
things.
Yeah, it's what you're describing is a friendship.
Yeah.
But we live together.
Yeah, you can live with friends.
Yeah, why don't you-
No.
You don't have to marry your
slightly
friend to
bigger
live
place.
together.
want a lavender marriage.
Slightly bigger place.
I want Tim to lavender marry me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I want him to.
All right.
Okay.
I'll let him know.
Thank you.
I'm messaging him now.
Pass it on.
Will you lavender marry me?
So in 1796, at about 20 years old, Jane began writing the novel that later became Sense and Sensibility, one of the big ones.
One of the big ones.
It was first called Eleanor and Marianne
Oh, Sense and Sensibility's better.
because it was written as a series of letters between the two characters, Eleanor and Marianne.
Oh.
She also began work on what would become Pride and Prejudice, originally titled First Impressions.
Huh.
What do you think about that one?
I like Pride and Prejudice better.
Pride and Prejudice is better, especially once you've written Sense and Sensibility. You
Yeah.
need to be your own
Pride
theme.
and Prejudice, it's such an intriguing title.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand what this means. I'll read the book.
Yes, but first impressions, you're like, well, I've had one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're really
My
good.
first impression of this book, boring.
Boring.
Put it down. But Pride and Prejudice, I'm hooked by the title alone.
What do you mean pride? What do you mean prejudice?
Who? She read the works in progress aloud to her family, and first impressions, later P&P, became a family favourite. Her father, George, tried to get it published and wrote to a famous London publisher named Thomas Cadell. Cadell published some of the other most famous writers of the 18th century, including Samuel Johnson, the philosopher and economist Adam Smith, the poetry of Scottish poet Robert Burns,
Oh, wow.
and Edward Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, which is a very big historical text at the time. So
I want to
he's-
be in Scotland for Burns Day one day. That's what I want. Or Burn Night or whatever they have.
Friday,
Fanny night.
Thursday,
Fanny Night. That's what I'm thinking
Thursday's
of.
Fanny night, Fridays,
Where they
Burns
celebrate.
night, if it's gone badly.
That's right. Friday night
That
did not
big
go
meal.
well.
Oh my god! Oh gosh, we got to examine our Alexander technique because that was really painful.
Please continue. The publisher.
The publisher, so he's a big deal publisher. George sent his daughter Jane's manuscript that later became Pride and Prejudice, but the publisher didn't even open it, marking it declined by return of post.
Wow. What a
Yeah,
dog.
didn't even read it.
What an absolute dumb.
I'm maybe it's one of those things where it's like I get hundreds of submissions, I can't possibly read them all. So sorry, but it just.
No, fuck off.
But unfortunately, I don't think he would ever know how big a deal Pride and Prejudice would become. But what a fucking idiot!
Yeah, yeah.
You said no to Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do think about that with the people who like rejected Walt Disney getting loans for Disneyland, or the people who there's multiple publishers who said no to Harry Potter.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you'd feel like an idiot.
One of these things. Would you be telling people because it's kind of a funny story to say I actually rejected Harry Potter, or do you feel like such an idiot that
Yeah,
you
hard
wouldn't
to
bring it
say.
up?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Or-
do you want the proximity or do you?
Yeah, 'cause it's
is
like-
it too shameful?
Yeah, or is it like one of those things where you're like, you got to meet Henry. You got to meet. Hey,
Yeah,
Henry.
yeah.
Yeah. Remember when you said no to Harry Potter?
Exactly.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you
could
make
be that.
friends make fun of them. So it's rejected, not even open. So she went back to Eleanor and Marianne and rewrote it without the elements of letters back and forth and told the story from third person, which was pretty revolutionary and something definitely that she pioneered at the time.
Oh, wow.
A lot of stories and novels from the time were told from the first-person perspective of one character, but by introducing an omnipotent narrator, the audience, of course, was able to hear the feelings and innermost thoughts of multiple characters rather than just one. And I know this sounds so obvious to us, but it was pretty new and exciting at the time.
So they weren't doing that before.
Not a very common thing, like it would be like, blah, blah, the story of a man from his perspective, that kind of thing. But this, and like I said, this became Sense and Sensibility. It remained, at the time, however, unpublished.
Right.
A year or two later, so she writes these full novels and then goes, well, no one wants this up on the shelf, but she loves writing, so she goes on. A year or two later, she began working on another novel, this one called Susan.
Susan.
And it would later become Northanger Abbey, a coming-of-age story, which was a satire of a Gothic novel, which was also popular at the time.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
And this was the first of her novels to be fully completed. In 1803, the manuscript of Susan was sold to the publisher Richard Crosby for £10.
Whoa.
He promised to immediately publish it and even advertised the book publicly as being in the press. But for some reason, he never published it.
What?
So he's bought
He
the
bought
rights.
it and didn't do anything with that.
Didn't publish it.
Do you get the, because this is the early 1800s, £10 is a lot of money.
It's okay money.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay money.
Yeah.
It's not like it wouldn't
She's
be a
not
year,
set for life
certainly not
money.
a year's salary
Yeah,
even.
yeah. But it's all right.
It's like, yeah.
Is it half a year's salary?
I don't think so. Because I go through some figures later on that let's remember £10 and
Okay,
compare
let's remember
it.
£10.
Because I don't think it's that much. But I think she's most excited about that she's going to be published.
Yeah.
It's like
totally.
a dream. She's been
Absolutely.
writing her whole life up to this point. She's still very young, but
Yeah.
it's like a dream of hers.
And he just doesn't print it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but like this time, women aren't being published. Like,
No.
so that's
It's hard.
Wow.
huge.
It's hard. I mean, there are some female writers, but it's like a very small percentage.
Yeah.
So it's a real dash to her dream.
Not
We're
like now, they're writing all those bloody horny Mills and Boons.
Horny
Oh my God.
dragon.
That's the only thing women
books.
read.
Oh my gosh.
I want to get my hands on those horny dragon books, actually.
My wife loves the Horny Dragon.
What are they
Really?
called?
The Onyx
Onyx
those ones?
Storm?
Yeah.
Onyx Storm.
That's one of the that's the most
We've got
recent
Onyx
one.
Storm. We've got Fanny Knight.
Rebecca Yarros is the writer.
I trust your wife's taste in just about everything. So
Her books. It's funny because she's also read every single book that's ever won the Booker Prize since like the 1960s. So
Wow.
it's funny that she's very well read
Yeah.
with very hard to read stuff, but also
Yeah.
loves the Horny Dragon stuff. And she tells me about it. And
I think that's good.
you got to have a bit of variety.
yeah.
You know, I don't love to watch high cinema. I take that back.
I do,
But I
also love
dumb
Fast
shit.
and Furious.
Yeah, Fast and
it's
Furious.
fun.
And one of our favourite
It
films is
sounds
Paddington
fun.
2.
Yes, Paddington 2, Magnolia by Paul Thomas Anderson, Marcel the Shell,
Yep.
and Fast 7. If you have a problem with that top 4,
That's
take
a
it up
great
with
top
my
4.
fucking lawyer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the Empyrean series is the
Okay.
name of those
But they're
ones.
gigantic books. I say that like that's daunting. I read on a Kindle. I think it'd be
It
okay.
doesn't make any difference to you.
Yeah, but then the percentage is down the bottom, and I get a bit frustrated if I'm not far enough through. I got to take that off. I think.
The Empyrean.
Empyrean,
They're
yeah.
called
In
the
the first
Empyrean
week, Onyx Storm sold
books.
2.7 million copies.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to read these.
Ah!
I'm going to read them and I'm going to write some fucking horny fucking books. Fuck. Keep going.
Nice. Okay. So there's a real dash to her dream of being published. We're not sure why Thomas didn't publish it, but when she wrote him an angry letter demanding the return of the copyright, because she's not able to publish it while he owns
No.
it, he asked for the return of the £10.
Fuck off.
But at that point, she no longer had it, probably spending it on her life, support her
Shoes.
family. Yes, right. She went.
Shoes and lipstick.
She went straight to Strand bags.
Oh god, she's gone.
Straight to
Strand bags and
Strand
then Mecca. We're
Oh
fucked.
my god.
I literally went to Strand bags and Mecca yesterday, and then Lululemon.
What are you doing in Strand
Isn't that
bags?
crazy? I was with Mum.
What the fuck are you
I was
doing
talking with Mum.
inside of a Strand bag?
Mum loves Strand bags. To be fair, we bought matching purses. It's
Yeah,
very
listen, there's
cute.
nothing wrong with the Strand bags. I'm just surprised
No.
that a girl with absolutely stocked to the eyeballs with July, because of game recognised game. What are you doing in
I'm a
Strand
July
bags?
girly who wandered into Strand bags.
Is July another brand?
Yeah, the
bag.
luggage.
July
Oh, nice.
luggage.
Sorry, more a Strand bag kind of
I
guy.
know you are.
Oh,
My work bag over there is a July
Is that
bag.
oh yes, you love that brand.
I love
do
July.
know.
it's
I
a
love
great
July.
brand.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah, great.
functional.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
very expensive.
Great customer service.
Incredible.
Really?
service.
But
I love them.
But the customer service at
They've
Strand
given me
bags would
some
have been
free
second
things.
to none.
Hello
Hello there. Can I help you?
Hello, dear.
Oh, dear. What are you going? Oh,
Are you going overseas?
Are you
I'm going
shopping with
abroad.
Mama? You that's nice. My daughter takes me shopping sometimes too. It's nice.
I love it. Mums love Strand bags. Mums love Pandora.
Yep.
My mum got me a Pandora necklace for Christmas, and there's nothing I can do. There's nothing. I went to the Pandora. I said, "You're not going to take this back off my hands without a receipt, are you?" They said, "No." And I said, "Well, I'm certainly not going to tell my mum that I do not like this Pandora necklace.
So don't worry about
So
it.
don't worry about it. Now I've got this.
It looks beautiful.
How did we get onto? How did we get onto that?
$10.
Oh, you got-
£10.
yeah.
She went to
Yeah,
Strand
she
bags
said,
and Mecca,
"Give me my
yes.
copyright back if you're not going to publish it." He said,
Yeah.
"Well, give me my
Here's
£10
10
back."
quid.
And she said, "Well, I don't have that kind of money anymore."
Yeah.
So she wasn't able to buy it back until 1816, which is years later.
Wow.
So for
Jeez.
years, Susan or Northanger Abbey remained unpublished. Her
Wow.
first finished novel. So
Yeah.
she's like, damn it.
That sucks.
Being an unmarried woman, Jane lived with her parents up until this point, and the stability and support of living with them at the Steventon Rectory made it easy to write.
Mm-hmm.
But when she was 25 years old, this abruptly came to an end when her father announced his sudden retirement.
Right.
All the sons had moved away to their own places, and George announced that he was moving to Bath in Somerset.
Somerset.
Bath.
Bath.
I've been to Bath once. I performed for about 30 people in a foyer of the theatre they'd booked for me because they misunderstood how many fans I would have in the Bath area. It was the smallest show I've ever done
So
in
they
my
capped
life.
it at 30.
They put me in a foyer. They were like, "You've not sold enough tickets. We're going to put this show in the foyer." It was insane. It was crazy. And my managers I had a meeting the other night. And they were like, "Do you want to go back to Bath?" I was like, No. Thank you so much. That's crazy. I was going like the lights were kind of just on. Like I was like, hey guys, sorry, I know this is crazy. Thanks for coming to see me in this hall. Hey, like I couldn't do the show.
People standing as well for some reason, but did they put some chairs in
No,
there?
they put chairs out. They put lights. You know, it was a real experience. It was a real, what am I doing?
Do you think it would have been less weird than doing it in the theatre, like, and
it just being 30 people in the theatre?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I think it was about 50 people, but the theatre was for like 500 people.
Yeah,
Which in other places, I mean, in London, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because we can... That's where people who know who I am live.
And Bath is a much smaller population.
Yeah.
Bath is tiny.
London.
And also, like, I'm going to all these towns near Bath, so a lot of people, like, just came to the other towns.
Yeah.
That were bigger. Anyway, it's a lovely venue, but I did not get to play it. And the staff seemed disappointed in me. And the guy left the reverb on my microphone for the entire show.
Perfect. Just what you want.
That's
Perfect.
the sound. Because he wanted to give you the full hall experience, but in the foyer, so he's like, let's beef up this reverb a bit. Bath, Jess, is where I drove down. We were driving in our hired van.
Hard to drive in
gigantic.
Bath.
Yeah, so hard.
Particularly hard.
And I realised that I was driving down a pedestrian mall when so in front of us, I drove up to the nativity scene.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God, we can't be here. So we had to like pull off the street as quickly as we could. But then we went to the baths and they're beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And the audio
They
guide
are beautiful.
was Bill Bryson, which Matt was very excited about, one of the channels.
And you can go into the big church. If you just tell them you're there to pray, they can't fight you.
Oh, that's a good line.
Smart.
I'm just here to
I'm
pray.
not paying to go into a church. I'm sorry. Church has enough money.
It's been here a while.
I'm not fucking, let me in. Fuck you.
Let me
Just
have a
coming
look.
in to pray.
So her dad was like, I'm moving to Bath.
Yes.
Nobody else is coming with him?
It's like, you either come with me or do whatever you can.
Yeah,
They're like, we've got no
I'm
money.
retiring.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And so
Bath time.
Bath time.
Bath time for the rest of my life. So Jane and her sister Cassandra moved too, but Jane was not happy and was reportedly shocked to be told that she was moving 50 miles or 80k away from the only home she'd ever known.
Yeah, wow.
She's like, this is my life. I love living here, love riding here.
You can ride anywhere. That's the thing, Jane.
Yeah.
They have paper in Bath.
So they went,
I was going to say internet, but
You shouldn't have paper in Bath.
oh, that's a bad
It will
combination.
get wet.
probably worse to
It's a
have
very
like
bad
internet in Bath.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Probably worse to have electricity in the bath.
Yeah.
So her productivity as a writer stalled. Before this, she'd written at least 3 novels in 3 years.
Woof.
But in Bath, she only edited Susan and started another novel called The Watsons that was later abandoned. There is disagreement, though, that if this lack of productivity reflects depression and stagnation after the family move, or perhaps being closer to a larger town, she was more engaged socially and had less time to write. There's 2 schools of thought. Whether she's out partying or she's like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not happy.
She was probably out partying.
I hope so for her. That's more fun.
Yeah, I think she's partying.
Yeah.
She's probably...
Social engagements.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
she's at dinners and
Dancing,
balls. And,
drinking, eating nice foods.
Yeah.
Ooh la la, loving it.
They got great bars in Bath. Like, it's a really nice place.
Great place. She's enjoying it.
She's having a good time.
Visiting the bath, going to the church.
Going to the church, say, I'm here to pray, let me in.
Yeah, let me in. Going to the foyer of a
Going into the
large
foyer
theatre.
of the theatre. Fucking hell.
That's great.
It was so...
It's a fun story now, but at the time you would have been like, this sucks.
Even at the time, it was a fun story. I couldn't stop laughing. Like, I was like, guys, what are we doing? Thanks for coming. Fucking, yeah. Rock on. It was
Rock
real
on,
bad.
Bath.
Yeah,
Rock
felt
on.
bad. Felt bad at the time.
So things became even harder when her father suddenly died in 1805, leaving Jane, Cassandra, and their mother, also Cassandra, in a precarious financial position.
Wait, where are all the other sisters?
There's no other sisters. There's 2 sisters and
Oh,
everyone.
the others
there's
are boys.
Yeah, 6 boys.
I
So
got
they're all off
confused
doing their
again.
own thing, living with their own families, their own
Oh, yeah,
houses,
so
because
it's
they
just the
can
girls.
do that,
Yep,
because
yep,
they can
yep.
work.
Yeah.
Britannica writes, Jane had to put up with a succession of temporary lodgings or visits to relatives in Bath, then London, Clifton, Warwickshire, and finally Southampton, where the 3 women lived from 1805 to 1809. So it was a period of upheaval in her life. Brothers Edward, James Henry, and Frank, which is 4 of 6, pledged to make an annual contribution to support their mother and sisters.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is nice, but I've only realised, where are the other 2?
Yeah.
Where are they?
You know what I'd do? Is I would, because you got that many siblings, I would spend a month with each of them and just rotate around.
Yeah.
You're only visiting twice a year
Yeah, it's not
to
bad.
each place, so it's not too much of a burden on them.
Yeah,
You're
that's
just
good.
travelling around, free house. I'll help with the kids or something.
Wet nurse.
I'll be a witness.
Witness. I reckon I could get some going.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it.
Go on, it's been a while.
No. I'm
Okay.
not. No.
And we don't know about the size of her naturals.
We have no idea, and I wouldn't want to speculate.
Okay, you don't speculate.
Yeah. I wouldn't like to speculate.
So
I don't even know if they were naturals. She could have had work done.
We don't know.
And that's fine.
That's lost to the letters.
And I would respect that.
So in Southampton, they shared a house with brother Frank Austen and his new wife, but it was the move in 1809 that finally brought back some stability into Jane Austen's home life when she and Cassandra and their mother moved into a large cottage on brother Edward's estate in Chawton in Hampshire.
Chawton.
This is back near Steventon where she had grown up, so she's back in the same area. It was a quiet life, but now settled, Jane had a renewed sense of purpose with her writing and began to prepare Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice for publication. So she's like, cracked that old volume back on the shelf and said, hey, I'm going to rewrite this and I'm going to get it published.
Yes.
Her brother Henry became a real champion for her work and acted as a go-between her and the publishers. It took 2 years, but Thomas Egerton agreed to publish Sense and Sensibility in November 1811. This was almost 15 years after she'd written the first draft, and she's now 35.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was published anonymously, and simply the title page says, by a lady.
Oh. Wait.
What? Okay. Yep.
By a lady.
It was common at the time for female...
By a lady.
Yeah, to publish anonymously.
Books by a
Yeah, do
lady.
you have any books by a lady?
I only like lady books.
I don't like the men books. They're too complicated.
Too many cars.
They're all talking about war. I don't know what it means.
Oh, I don't know what it means. So a book by a lady about cleaning a house.
At the time, the ideal roles for women were as wife and mother. And writing for women was regarded at best as a secondary form of activity. A woman who wished to be a full-time writer was felt to be degrading her femininity. I'm saying that right.
I love degrading my femininity.
No. Imagine if those people could see what we do to our femininity now.
On a Thursday night, on a funny night, I tell you what, I'm degrading my femininity. And Tim's. It's crazy.
Fanny night.
Funny night. I don't know what I mean.
Yeah, but so I understood, like, it was published anonymously. Sure, they're not going to put a lady's name on it. Nobody's going to buy that. But then it says by a lady.
Yes.
I find that very interesting.
It's like George Eliot, not her real name, because she wanted to appear like a male author.
Yeah.
But in this, it's just like by a lady. George Eliot, as the Middlemarch is her most famous work.
What? And we don't know her name?
No, we do know her name, but it's escaped me.
you don't know
that's
it
what
off by
she's
heart.
published, because she's known famously as George Eliot. Real name, Mary Ann Evans.
This is the first time I've learnt that is by a lady.
Yes. There you go.
By a lady.
I also have to be honest with you. I've never heard of the book.
Oh, Middlemarch. I'd love to read it, but it is literally 1,000 pages.
What?
Oh.
See, and that wasn't a sign it was written by a woman?
Blah,
Oh, blah, blah, blah,
Like,
blah.
and it's like-
Probably 4 chapters on strand bags. And then the whole chapter of her just trying to pick the right lippy colour. Oh, this one's a bit brown for me.
Oh,
Oh, that looks
I don't
nice on
know
you, but we're
about
different
that.
skin
I
tones.
think I've got undertones.
We're different colours,
of a-
colourings. I think you're a
Well,
spring.
olive tone
Yeah, you're an
and-
olive. I'm very pink.
I don't know.
I need more of a coral, brings out the eyes.
Coral.
You know? That's a whole chapter, Dave.
I can easily see why you get to 1,000 pages. I can easily see.
Without the feminist of the pod here, I'm really giving it to women today.
Yeah. Good. They deserve it. They've had a too good for too long. 5 years around about.
Yeah, that's enough.
We're taking it back.
So it's written anonymously. Having said that, there were some famous female authors before who did write under their own names, including Frances Burney, who had influenced Jane particularly when she was younger.
Okay.
But it was rarer. Much
So it's
rarer.
more about like keeping your name off it so you're not like embarrassing yourself or your family.
Yeah, particularly with your first book, you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. My friend changed their name for a stage name for their first ever show because they were really worried it was going to go shit. And then it went really, really well. And now they have a stage
Are they
name.
locked in?
And they're completely locked in. And I met them as their stage name. And then I finally, had to transfer them some money. And I was like, I'm going to use a different name. But I was like, who the fuck is Wendy? Like, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what do you
Are you giving
mean?
me incorrect bank
Yeah,
details?
like,
Yeah.
has this message been hijacked?
Yeah, I was like, whose bank account is this? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
And yeah.
man.
Yeah, they have a totally different name. Their parents call them their stage name and
Really?
everything. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Because that's obviously would have been a full rebrand.
full rebrand.
Because they would have known them by
Yeah.
their original
But they were
name
quite young,
forever.
so they were just like, oh, nah, stage name. Pretty cool, actually.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So Sense and Sensibility came out. If you're not familiar, the novel follows the three Dashwood sisters and their...
3 Dashhound sisters.
Yeah.
That's... Keep going.
see
I'm going to keep it as
You can see
Dashhound.
why she changed it from writing letters back and forth, because it was weird to have a couple of Dashhounds writing letters.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
didn't
They
make
wouldn't
any
write.
sense.
They wouldn't be.
etc.
So it's the three sisters and their widowed mother as they are forced to leave the family estate in Sussex and move to a modest cottage on the property of a distant relative in Devon.
Okay.
There, the two eldest girls experience love and heartbreak that tries the contrasting characters of both.
That's beautiful.
There you go. It was published on a commission deal, meaning at the author's financial risk.
Oh.
The publishers would advance the cost of publication and repay themselves as books were sold and then charge a 10% commission for each book sold, paying the rest to the author.
Yeah, okay.
So they pay themselves back first, and then if we break even, then I take a 10%
She's
cut.
getting 90%
You get
though.
90%.
I'm pretty sure that's how books are.
A lot of deals are like that. Yeah, I think
That's what my book was like. They gave me money and they're like, and then you get money once the book earns out the advance.
Right. They pay
Yeah.
them. I think it's the same with recording deals, right? With often the way it's like, hey, you're on $1 million recording
Yeah.
deal. I'm going to need that money back.
I'm going to need $1 million.
Yeah, I'm going to need that back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, but I'm not sure if this is the same with your book, Michelle. If a novel did not recover its costs through the sales, the author was responsible for them.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah, I
it's
hope
not
that's
like
not
that.
true.
No.
Because that's quite a risk for you.
No, but that's the Fringe Festival model.
Oh, sorry, you've got to pay anyway.
Yeah, if you don't have a manager
you
you're
got to pay.
or an agent to pay your costs, a producer, you're effed in the B.
Fanny night.
So,
I didn't feel good about that one.
There are some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a large unexpected inheritance. An always on the verge of death phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone. Up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard so you can get a new one. Just trade in any phone from our top brands on any unlimited plan. With new line on My Plan. Additional terms apply for trade-in and pay off your phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
To make switching to the new Boost Mobile risk-free, we're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Because you have nothing to lose. Boost Mobile is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
No, I asked why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Oh.
Wouldn't.
Because you love wasting money as a way to punish yourself because your mother never showed you enough love as a child?
Whoa, easy there.
Yeah.
Applies to online activations. Requires port in and auto pay. Customers activating in stores may be charged non-refundable activation fees.
oh, coming up to some dollar figures here.
Okay.
We were talking about £10
We're going to put
earlier.
£10 in perspective
Okay.
now.
So as it was sold on commission, the publisher Edgerton used expensive paper,
Joel Edgerton.
or Taryn,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not a feminist.
and used expensive paper and set the price at 15 shillings, which is equivalent to £69 in 2023. Very expensive for a book,
Right.
and not accessible to much of the population.
Oh,
You can't just like go and buy a paperback in these times.
okay.
So
How much is a book? Normal. Wait,
Now.
that's what. Wait,
Wait, they
What
were
did you
charging
say?
$69 per book?
Yes, that's what the publisher set the price because they wanted to get their money back.
Is that a normal price?
No, that's insane.
15 shillings. It was a lot because they used very expensive paper, but also it's not like you couldn't go out and buy a book for $15 or $20 back then.
Yeah.
It was, the higher earners were able to afford the books.
Right. Books were not accessible
Not
or
to
affordable.
Yeah. Like dime books, not a thing. Reviews were favourable, and amongst the people that could afford the novel, it became fashionable amongst these young aristocratic opinion makers. The edition of about 750 was sold out by mid-1813, making Austen about £140 profit, which is equivalent to almost £13,000 today.
Okay.
And provided her with some financial and physiological independence.
Yeah.
But so if we take that back before
To $10.
£10, she only was making about £1,000
Wow.
on the first deal.
Yeah.
So like I said, not enough to keep going.
No, not enough to pay rent.
No. The success, however, also meant she could publish more books, and this is the important part.
Okay.
And remember, she already had a few up her sleeve.
Yeah.
So she went, here's one I prepared earlier.
You can really jump on the bandwagon, yeah.
And just slapped Pride and Prejudice down on the table.
Yeah, nice.
It being published in 1813. Pretty much immediately. And if you're not familiar with Pride and Prejudice, I have covered it on Book Cheat. You can listen with my wife.
Oh,
Gabriella was on that episode. Yes.
Cool.
It's great, and it opens with one of the most...
With my wife.
With my wife. We've actually... She has said she loves these dragon books, these Onyx Stormed books so much. She's like, why don't you do a spin-off show? Because she wants me to read them as well, so I can talk about them with her.
Yeah,
so she's got something to chat about.
It's not so that... That's not why.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's not why she wants you to read them.
The books
It's
are
not
horny.
to talk
She
about.
wants me to fuck a dragon,
Yeah.
and I'm cool with it.
She wants you to learn how to fuck like a dragon.
But she's like, you could do a spin-off series where we do a book cheat of these series, me and her.
She's trying to spice things
Does anyone
up.
want that? Let me know.
I want it.
So you
want
don't have
that.
to read because there's like 500 or 600 pages each.
Yeah,
these
I'm not
things.
reading that.
So I'll have to read that.
I don't want to listen to you guys talking about sexy dragons.
I don't want to hear Dave talking about it. I'd happily hear Gabriella talk about it.
I don't think I would go into much detail about the Fanny Knights.
Well, then what the fuck's the point in the dragons?
Oh, maybe I'll listen. I could listen to them maybe. An audiobook maybe. Really
Yeah.
long books, I'm like, oh, too much.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but then you have to hear someone describing Fanny Knight.
Oh, no.
If you're into it or not.
Oh, no.
If it's oh no,
That's terrible.
Fanny night. Don't tell me. About it.
Don't.
What?
Don't act it out.
My wife, I will say, my wife claims that she's like, I skip through those bits.
No, she doesn't.
She. This is her quote from her. Anyone can have sex, but not everyone can ride a dragon. Get back to the fucking dragon.
Honestly, I have read a long time ago the 50 Shades of Grey and skipped the sex scenes.
Yeah, well, that's a very specific case, surely.
Nah, like in all the books.
But that's a lot of it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
Jess
really
has missed a lot of the plot.
It depends on it's okay. Mish Wittrop and I were talking about this just recently. The language used in the sexy scenes is very important and can be a total. I'm saying turn off in a literary way, not like a. Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to masturbate to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
That's what I'm saying. But like, it could just be like, oh, this is not for me. So I was just skipping.
yeah, some really
Saucy scenes.
things that
It's
make you cringe. You
hard.
go, oh.
I had
Yes.
to write a sex scene recently, and I was like, oh, this is hard. Because I was not just writing it by myself. I was writing it with my writing partner, Sam Lingham, who I famously don't have sex with.
Okay.
And I was like, oh,
How do you
I'm
do it?
revealing myself. Like, it was just like, and it's a lesbian sex scene.
Okay.
So I was like, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah. Sounds like, I'll take it from here.
But it was
Sounds
just
like
really
Michelle, take the day off.
Like, it was just like me just writing like, so this is what I have in my personal experience, and then you can just give notes, I guess. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's very strange.
So difficult.
So I do understand
Hard to
Ella
do.
being like, I skipped those.
Yeah.
Not into it.
And I understand why
Boring.
she would lie to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Sorry, Pride and Prejudice. God, we're going on tangents today.
oh
Okay.
yes, we're up to Pride
Sorry,
and
it's
Prejudice.
my fault. I've got an eye infection. Maybe. I don't know.
Now, Pride and Prejudice, it's great. It really is. And it opens with one of the most famous lines in all of literature. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
Famously. Yeah.
Michelle knew that word for word.
she's an actor. She's, you know, she sees the world in scripts.
I see the world in words. I
Yeah.
see stories in the holes in walls. I see.
Yeah. She sees poetry in tea leaves, you know, like that's just how Michelle sees the world.
So the novel follows Elizabeth Bennet, who is a
Keira Knightley.
great character.
Yep.
Famously so. Very people love Elizabeth. She's one of 5 daughters, like I said, of Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, who live in an entailed house, meaning that because the father only has daughters, it will pass on to a male relative. It becomes imperative that at least one of the daughters marry rich to support the others.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell.
And enter Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy. Mr.
His
Darcy.
first name's Fitzwilliam.
I'm pretty sure.
I've heard the word Fitzwilliam, but is that just from Bridget Jones? Tits pervert. Fitzherbert. Tits pervert.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And that also has the same actor.
That's right. Who is named
Colin Firth.
Mr. Darcy as
Yes.
a
Mr.
joke.
Darcy as a reference.
As a reference, that's right. This time, Pride and Prejudice wasn't sold by commission, but she sold it by selling the copyright, which means she received a one-time payment from the publisher. This time, she received £110, which is actually less than she made from the last book.
Shit.
Jane Austen was, but it also means you've got a guarantee, so you've got to weigh out whether you think it's going to sell better or you can take the money now.
Do you do a buy-in? Do you
Yes.
do, you know, your Adelaide Festival, or do you do your Adelaide Fringe?
Yeah, that's right. Will they pay you
That's the
a
key.
one-off guarantee, or will you risk it all and try and sell it out?
Risk it all, try and sell it out.
Jane Austen was still unnamed as the author, but the title page simply says, by the author of Sense and Sensibility.
A lady in brackets.
By the lady author.
It received good reviews, was heavily advertised by the publisher, who knew he was onto a hit, and sold even better than Sense and Sensibility, becoming the big hit of the summer, again amongst people that could afford to buy books. They're not selling millions of copies back then.
Yeah.
But,
so is it just the upper class that can buy these books making fun of the upper class?
Yes.
That's
That's
so
really
interesting.
funny.
Yeah.
Crazy that books were so inaccessible.
Yeah, just the printing, the publishing cost
Yeah.
was too much. Critic Robert Irvine calculated that if Austen had sold Pride and Prejudice on commission, she would have made a profit of £475. Remember, she only took £100 or 110, which was twice her father's annual income or
Whoa.
4 times what she'd got paid up front.
Wow.
So unfortunately, she didn't get a good deal that time.
Damn.
It has since sold over 20 million copies and is one of the most popular and influential books in English literature. It wasn't quite that big at the time, but 10 months after the initial run, the book went into a second edition.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, I think they must have had to pay her again
Yeah.
for a second edition. So hopefully she's making a bit more money. The big part about it was the success again made it so that she could keep publishing. And Mansfield Park, her third novel, came out in 1814. Again, the title page of each book referred to 1 or 2 of Austen's earlier novels, capitalising on her growing reputation, but it didn't provide her name. So it's like, by the author of Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, but still doesn't have her name.
Wow.
Her books by this point were being read in high places, including by the Prince Regent, who was acting king during his father, this is George III's mental illness, and he himself would become future King George IV. So for all intents and purposes, he's the king. Austen discovered that the prince was a big fan and kept a collection of her books at each of his residences.
Wow.
So he's buying multiple copies.
Love that.
James,
That's like Barack Obama's Spotify playlist.
getting on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah.
There are some books that I own a physical copy of and the Kindle, or I've done audiobook as well as.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I just support the arts.
And do you keep the Kindle at a separate house?
Of course.
At the summer house.
I keep the Kindle at my summer house. That's when I read.
Summer.
That's when you know you're rich. If you've got multiple Kindles and you can't be bothered carrying the,
Yeah.
The Kindle.
the 300 grams or whatever it is
Yeah.
from house to house.
They're very bulky.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I've got one in the car.
That's my
Just in
car
case, yeah.
Kindle.
James Clark, the Regent's librarian, contacted Austen to invite the author to tour Carlton House, which is the Prince Regent's London residence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the time, I've got to say, the Prince Regent was pretty controversial, not a well-loved figure, eating and drinking excessively, having multiple mistresses, gambling, getting into debt, getting into trouble. he was a popular joke in the British tabloids, with some even portraying him as a stuffed sausage.
Oh my God. That's fun.
Like a common representation.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump we see as a big Cheeto, so
It's similar
You know?
sort of parody levels going. And when she was invited to tour his house, digitalausten.org writes, despite her hatred for His Royal Highness due to his debauchery and mistreatment of his wife, Austen accepted the invitation. Kind of thing, you can't say no. You can't really say no.
yeah.
Whilst at Carlton House, Stania Clark, this is the librarian, informed Austen that the Prince Regent, I don't think he was home, but this is the reason that she was invited. She was advised that the Prince Regent kept a set of Austen's novels at each of his residences, and by his permission, Austen was, quote, at liberty to dedicate any future novel to him. Austen recognised the commercial value of such a dedication, and also you can't really say no again.
Yeah.
The Prince is asking, you dedicate your next novel to me. So in her publication of her next novel, which was Emma, in 1815, she wrote, to His Royal Highness, the Prince Regent, this work is, by His Royal Highness's permission, most respectfully dedicated by His Royal Highness's dutiful and obedient humble servant, the author. Again, not naming herself. This pretty over-the-top dedication mentions His Royal Highness no less than 3 times and has since been interpreted by some as being a mockery or a bit of a piss take of the Prince.
It feels
of whom
like
she
it, yeah.
detested. His Royal Highness and His Royal Highness
Yes.
and His Royal Highness.
And he asked for this, basically.
Yeah,
But I'll,
Wow.
yeah. Your most humble servant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it about, like, the royal family or no?
No, so Emma it's a comedy of manners. It's slightly different. She does slightly different genre stuff, commenting upon the manners and social conventions of a greatly sophisticated and yet artificial society.
Oh, Emma's Clueless, isn't it?
Oh.
Is that right?
Yes, I've got a note at the end here. Clueless is Emma. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Clueless, perfect movie.
Great movie. Emma centres on Emma Woodhouse, a wealthy, pretty, self-satisfied young woman who indulges herself with meddlesome and unsuccessful attempts at matchmaking among her friends and neighbours. So I'm not sure, have any of these jumped out to you more than others for your first Austen experience yet, Michelle?
Well, maybe I'll read Emma because I love Clueless.
There you go. That's a good entry, I think.
Yeah.
Austen continued to write, but in early 1816. So she's on this run where she's publishing one every year.
That's crazy.
For 3 or 4 years in a
Yeah.
row. But in early 16, she became ill.
Oh.
By the middle of that year, her decline was unmistakable and she'd begun a slow, irregular deterioration.
No. How old is she?
She's 40 at this age.
Oh, my God.
Only just turned 40. As her illness progressed, she experienced difficulty walking and lacked energy. By mid-April, she was confined to her bed.
No.
In May, Cassandra brought her to Winchester for treatment. Still, she continued to write and until August of that year worked on what would become her novel Persuasion. Again, covered on Book Cheat with Jess Perkins and Broden Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 10. Check it out.
Know it well. Where were we? The old studio, maybe?
Yeah, I think the second studio.
No
Last one before
recollection. I'm so sorry.
This was the same year that she was able to finally get the copyright back for Northanger Abbey and also edited that. But sadly, neither that or Persuasion were published in her lifetime because all good things must come to an end.
Fucking hell. She
No.
fucking died in her 40s.
Jane Austen died in Winchester on the 18th of July, 1817 at the age of just 41.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ. What? What of?
Very suddenly, yeah.
What from?
Oh my God.
COVID.
There's a lot of speculation about what Jane Austen died from.
Fuck. So we don't fucking know. Fuck. Dave, this is a terrible ending.
Oh, you've taken this so hard.
Wait, she's gone?
You started with like, never read them, don't, not interested, whatever. And now you're like, Dave, how dare you kill her?
I really like her now.
Yeah, she seems cool.
People have said it's possibly Addison's disease, possibly Hodgkin's disease.
Oh.
But, yeah, this is
I
all
just don't know.
looking back, and that's still debated. Some other people say it's tuberculosis,
That's a classic.
which can cause Addison's disease.
Oh, God.
So, but then there's other hypotheses. Stomach cancer, because she had digestive disorders towards the end.
Oh.
Pernicious anemia, to explain other symptoms. Yes, it's
Does she have an
I'm not
eye
sure.
infection? Did it say
oh
anything
gosh.
about her eye
Yeah, it did say it
watering?
started
Were
with
her- yeah.
her left eye, actually.
Were her eyes okay?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Oh, no. Addison's disease. I'm just Googling. I'm just going to try and figure out what it was. You talk amongst yourselves.
I mean, you'll be there for a while because there are so many conflicting theories. Henry, her brother, through his clerical connections, arranged for his sister to be buried in the north aisle of the nave of Winchester Cathedral. The epitaph, composed by her brother James, praises Austen's personal qualities, expresses hope for her salvation, and mentions the extraordinary endowments of her mind, but does not explicitly mention her achievements as a writer.
Wow.
So it's not even mentioned.
So she must have... What? Was she trying to keep it to herself?
No, she was pretty happy to be published, and the family absolutely knew about it.
Wow.
But the question is, how are we still talking about her over 200 years later?
Yeah.
Well,
Great cue.
in the months after Austen's death in 1817, Cassandra and Henry Austen arranged for the publication of Persuasion and Northanger Abbey as a set that came together. A biographical note on the author was included, and finally Jane Austen was named as the writer of her own work.
Nice.
But only after she passed, unfortunately. Sales were pretty good, but with the death of the author, by 1820 her novels went out of print. A few educated literati types from the literary elite were fans and advocated for the importance of her work over the decades following, but in the mainstream, they were largely ignored. She was forgotten for a few years. People needed pictures. The first
That's
illustrated...
when, like, the Marvel ones came in, comics and shit.
The Hulk as Emma.
And that's the Bronte sisters, isn't it? They were doing the Marvel ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
Brontes
right.
are famous for the Avengers,
Yeah.
the MCU.
They are the original MCU, the three sisters together. It's incredible, really.
It's amazing.
The first illustrated edition of Jane's work appeared in 1833 in Richard Bentley's standard novel series, which put her titles before thousands of readers across the Victorian period. As time goes by, or it went by, it became cheaper to print. And now there's illustrated editions. The masses, it's a bit more accessible. But she was really put on the map a few decades after that, when in 1869, Austen's nephew, James Edward Austen Lee, published a book called A Memoir of Jane Austen. The memoir gained widespread attention, introducing the broader public to her works, and gradually this led to her novels being reissued again. It also introduced her to the wider public as an appealing personality, quote-unquote, Dear Aunt Jane. Probably how you imagine her wearing a bonnet, with the personality of a lady who didn't want publication or fame in her lifetime, despite the fact that she wrote and pushed for publication her whole life. It was like her dream. This sort of portrayed her in a different way.
Wow.
As a bit like, oh, who me? I'm just little dear old Aunt Jane. Just a nice little lady.
I don't like that.
I wouldn't write sassy letters and bitch about people.
Yeah.
So that was, and she's still seen that way in a lot of contemporary portraits of her wearing the bonnet. Austen's novels were taken to the next level when they fell out of copyright, of course, and were able to be mass printed for cheap and sold for pennies, becoming one of the first successful paperback novels. During World War I, her novels were sent out to soldiers in the trenches to offer them some distraction from the horrors of war.
Wow.
God. They should send us all novels
Yeah.
to distract us from the horrors.
I'd love a novel.
Yeah. There's an election coming up soon. Albanese, if you're listening.
Alba, send us a novel.
Let's get some novels happening.
And her legions of fans began to grow over each of those incidents over the decades. And if I had done this as Do Go On the quiz show on Jane Austen, I would have asked you this question. Multiple choice. What do you think devotees and fans call themselves?
Oh, Austeneers.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Jane heads.
Ostentatious.
Ostentatious.
I've got
You've got multiples?
Janeites, Austenauts, JAs or JARs, Autations. Ostentations. I thought that was any of those.
It's going to be Austenauts or something, isn't it?
It's actually Janeites.
J-nights.
Which I thought is so funny.
So we got Wednesday night as J night. Thursday's Fanny night.
And the history of the term is actually so funny.
That's really tickled me.
So Jane, and it's also called Janeitism. Janeitism did not begin until after the publication of her nephew's memoir, when the literary elite felt that they had to separate their appreciation of Austen from that of the masses. Members of the literary elite who had claimed an appreciation of Austen as a mark of culture reacted against this popularization of her work. They refer to themselves as Janeites to distinguish themselves from the masses who, in their view, did not properly understand the work of Jane Austen.
Wow.
So she got popular after death and people were like, okay, but you're not a real Janeite.
Yeah,
Prove
name
it."
one of their songs.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, name them all. What was Sense and Sensibility originally called?
Yeah.
But you don't even know. It was originally letters. You don't know that, did you?
Crazy.
Take off that t-shirt.
Take
off that Jane Austen t-shirt.
Yeah.
People do not change.
I know, it's so funny.
We're the fucking same.
Yeah.
So
We're
funny.
the worst, but we're also like, sometimes there are things that humans do and you go, that's silly and cute. Wasn't Matt telling us about people applauding a sunset?
Yes, he was up in
He
Darwin.
was up in Darwin at the sunset and everyone applauded. And I was like, what the fuck
That's
is wrong with
lovely.
humans? But it's so cute. Well, we did a whole bonus episode about telling the bees and a whole cultural practice for a very long time of letting the bees know when somebody in the family dies. You have to go down and tell the bees.
What?
And within 24 hours, or they may become depressed or possibly stop making honey and leave.
Yeah. You got to tell the bees.
You got to warn them. It's like, I'm so sorry to let you know that you won't be seeing Aunt Mary anymore because she's passed.
And it's one of those things that if you're in the right, it depends on your mood. Sometimes
Tell
you
the
go, what the
bees.
fuck is wrong with you? But other times you're like, oh, that's cute.
I
and
think
silly.
that's so
I
funny.
think that's so beautiful and poignant and beautiful.
Yeah, humans are so cute
Telling
and
the
weird.
bees.
But we also have been the same
I'll
for such a
tell the
long time.
bees.
Yeah.
Oh, you like this thing now? Oh, so now this is hugely popular? Yeah, well, I actually liked it before you liked it, which means I'm better.
I'm better and you don't even like it.
I was reading about sexy dragons way before you.
okay?
Way before you. So by the mid-20th century, she was recognised and accepted in academia as a great English novelist worthy of the untold studies, reviews and reimaginings of her work. Jane's books have since been translated into almost 50 languages, and their work has inspired countless adaptations, biographies, documentaries and reimaginings, and these pop culture adaptations continue to introduce her work to new audiences, new generations. By 2000, there were over 100 printed adaptations of Austen's work. And to name but a few of the pop culture screen adaptations, it starts way back in 1940. There was an American Pride and Prejudice film starring Greer Garson as Elizabeth Bennet and Laurence Olivier as Mr. Darcy.
Oh, wow.
And Brave New World writer Aldous Huxley co-wrote the screenplay. So there you go. In 1995, Emma Thompson's adaptation of Sense and Sensibility for Columbia Pictures, directed by Ang Lee, came along, starring Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, Kate Winslet and Hugh Grant. It was nominated for 7 Oscars. Very popular. And it was a big year, 1995, because Pride and Prejudice starring Colin Firth in a wet white shirt in a lake came out and sparked Darcy mania across Britain. The series. So they went wild for it.
Yeah. But it's just funny because, like, I love Colin Firth, but I don't want to fuck Colin Firth.
I think we're too young.
I would
Yeah.
think because he's always seemed like a dad to me.
Yes, he was always a bit older, but
And he's quite sort of like reserved and he feels a bit repressed, but he's
Yeah, a bit
warm.
rigid, yeah.
Yes, yeah. There's sort of like I think to me he feels like his character in Bridget Jones, where he's like quite proper and blah, but you break through a little bit and he's warm and lovely.
yeah.
But I'm not like, oh my god, look at him in that wet shirt.
Yeah.
Invite him around on Thursday night. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, actually it's not the age, it's the awkward, it's the bumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they went wild for him. And this,
No, I love it.
The series sparked an explosion in the publication of printed Austen adaptations. It really kicked off a zenith for screen adaptations as well, because in 1996, Emma was adapted twice in 1 year.
Wow.
One with Gwyneth Paltrow in the lead, and the other was a TV movie with Kate Beckinsale.
Oh shit.
And co-starring Mark Strong, aka Merlin from Kingsman.
Country roads, take me home. He's doing John Denver in a Scottish accent. It's very good stuff.
That is pretty good.
I saw a rumor online that he's going to possibly be Dumbledore in the Harry Potter reboot.
I saw that too. I saw that. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great for him?
That'd be great
Love
for
that
him.
guy.
That'd
Love
be a
you,
good
Mark
get.
Strong.
They're also looking at, is it John Lithgow or something like that?
Get fucked.
Really?
Yeah.
Great actor.
Love John Lithgow.
I know. It's gonna be. It's a good get for character actors. The old Harry Potter franchise.
Yeah, and it's because obviously so many characters. It's
Yeah.
well.
So many fun.
I reckon I might get the call up for Harry himself.
I reckon you'll get the call for
I'm
Harry.
about Daniel Radcliffe's age. I could do it.
Yeah, you could.
Like, he was good enough. What's wrong with me?
Yeah. What? He did it.
He did it.
We're the same age.
With the same. Some other movies inspired by Austen's work you've already mentioned. Clueless in 1995.
Hell yeah.
Emma in a Beverly Hills High School. Bridget Jones' Diary borrowed its basic plot elements from Pride and Prejudice and again starred Colin Firth as Mark Darcy, named in deliberate homage to the original character.
Okay. Hugh Grant's in that franchise as well.
Yes.
Love Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
See, I want to have sex with Hugh Grant.
100%.
Oh, okay.
I don't think...
So he's not too old.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's not an age. And that's what made me realize it's not
rude
age.
That's just find that offensive to Colin.
No, it's not, there's nothing
love
wrong with Colin Firth.
Fine.
I'm going to marry Colin Firth.
Yeah,
Oh, good
I'm gonna
one.
Fuck Hugh
Fuck
Grant.
Who are you going to kill?
Grant.
Not Mark Strong. Don't kill Mark Strong, please.
No. I'm going to kill... Oh, well, Jane Austen's already dead.
Great.
Yeah, so kill Jane Austen.
Kill her off.
Feel no guilt.
No offense. But I did really get upset when I found out she was dead. Even though she is obviously dead.
Sorry to be the bearer.
But you wanted to die at like 100 years old.
41, it's awful.
In her sleep, you know.
And in that, she already wrote 6 absolute bangers.
Yeah.
Six classics.
So incredible. Imagine what she might have given
Possibly
us.
more.
I wish that people didn't have to die. Like Jane Goodall, she's 90, I think.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we keep her going? Can we sort that out before she goes? Because I really like her.
Another adaptation of Pride and Prejudice was released in 2005, starring Keira Knightley, who was nominated for an Academy Award for her portrayal of Elizabeth Bennet.
Keira Knightley.
I might rewatch that. I'm not going to rewatch it.
Matthew McFadden's also, he's
Yeah.
Mr. Darcy
Yeah.
with big sideburns.
Yeah.
He's a real brooder.
Yes.
That one.
And that's where I was like, I don't get the Mr. Darcy thing. Maybe I have to read the book. No, people are going to come for me at that.
That's fine.
I'm allowed to have opinions.
Read the book or listen to the book cheat.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have opinions.
No, Michelle, that's not true.
Well, Dave's allowed.
Dave's allowed.
Thank you.
And I share all of Dave's opinions.
Exactly.
All of them.
Thank you. And that's Mr. Darcy is an absolute stunner. 2004, a Bollywood-style film called Bride and Prejudice came out.
I've seen Bride and Prejudice.
Oh, really? Is it fun?
Yeah, I love it. I
Looks
love
pretty
a Bollywood vibe.
Yeah, poster looks
Lots
really
of
fun.
colours.
Yeah,
I
the
just like
poster's so colourful, yeah.
colours and movement. I'm like a dog.
You're like a toddler.
Yeah. Like I'm not, I want a movie that's set in the sunshine.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in like snow.
Yeah.
It's true.
I'm with you.
What am I going to do? Watch what? A snow movie? Fuck off.
Snow Dogs.
No.
Starring Paul Walker. No thanks.
God.
No.
Fucking Paul Walker. You're roasted peas.
I feel like Dave's close to the end.
Oh, I'm so close, actually. Yes.
I'm close to the edge.
In 2016, the parody comedy horror film Pride and Prejudice and Zombies came out. It's also based on a book.
Is it just Pride and Prejudice, but there's also zombies? Is it the same story?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's very similar to that. And that the book, I'm going to get the author's name here.
I think that's very fun.
Because it says Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, novel by Seth Graham Smith and Jane Austen.
Okay.
She gets finally gets
She's
the
getting some
credit.
royalties.
Yeah.
That rules.
Which is a bit of fun. I haven't seen it, but, now I'd be interested. There's honestly so many, and I did hear an academic say that nearly all of the adaptations use bigger houses and give the people way more money than the middle-class people that the book's actually
Right.
supposed to portray.
Okay.
Like there's often a few people with very large mansions, but then they give everyone like a homestead.
Yeah, okay.
And the academic's like, oh, I can't believe that.
I guess because we don't understand that having just like a house back then was very fancy.
Yeah, having a house and like having one maid, one cook or something
Yeah.
versus we're all like, oh, must have been Buckingham bloody Palace out there.
Yeah.
So Jane Austen's legacy lives on. In 1967, she was commemorated with a plaque in the famous Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. In 2007, on the 200th anniversary of the author's death, she was unveiled as being on the new English £10 notes, becoming the first female writer,
That's cool.
following in the steps of Shakespeare and Charles Dickens, to feature on a banknote. Now, a quote is included on the note, and it's from Pride and Prejudice, and it says, "I declare, after all, there is no enjoyment like reading," which The Guardian remarks, at first, seemed like a good choice. However, the words were spoken by one of Austen's most deceitful characters, Caroline Bingley, who has no interest in books. She is just sidling up to Mr. Darcy, who she would like as a husband.
Yeah.
And he is reading a book, so she sits next to him and is a bit like, oh, What you're doing, I love reading.
Oh, you're a reader?
Oh,
me
my
too.
gosh, I have
I
to read all
love
the
to
time.
read. I'm prolific.
So it's a bit
yes.
ironic that is the quote that is included
That's really funny.
from this amazing author. In 2003, the BBC conducted the Big Read to find out the UK's most loved books, and Pride and Prejudice came second, only behind The Lord of the Rings. So that's pretty good.
The Lord of the Rings. I will never read that.
No, too long.
Too long.
It's for boys.
It's for boys. And there's movie.
And I've watched that. And I fall asleep every time. But the music is so beautiful.
Yeah, great music.
And the landscape, I'm like, oh, I'm safe. I'm warm. I'm going to sleep. It's so nice. It's too nice.
Too nice.
Too nice.
Yeah.
Never made it up to the war bit.
Yeah.
When there's
You wake up and there's like millions of people fighting. Oh, my God.
Oh, too much.
Oh, my God, there's a big volcano.
Oh, turn it off.
Sadly, like many of the greats, Jane Austen never knew the true extent of the enduring legacy she was leaving behind. Her works continue to be discussed, debated, and of course enjoyed. Austen's writing stands out for its comedy, self-awareness, and realistic, detailed portrayals of characters and their relationships. Britannica sums up her achievements. Although the birth of the English novel is to be seen in the first half of the 18th century, primarily in the work of Daniel Defoe, Samuel Richardson, and Henry Fielding, it is with Jane Austen that the novel takes on its distinctly modern character and the realistic treatment of unremarkable people in the unremarkable situations of everyday life. Stanford English professor Alex Wallach writes, Austen is one of the biggest literary figures in English. At this point, she is somewhat like Shakespeare. Her centrality is so established. Therefore, it is a truth universally acknowledged that Jane Austen rules. The end.
Yay!
Yay!
Well done, Jane Austen.
Well done, Jane Austen.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah. So that's a
great.
bit about her, but there's also like a lot of facets of her life we don't know much about because it is undocumented personal life. So,
Which is kind of cool.
yeah, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of intrigue in there as well.
In this day and age where we document everything, it's kind of nice to be like, we don't know much about it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Private. She's
Private, but
beautiful.
we
I
know
love
how
her.
prolific she was. And,
Yeah.
and in a way, thank goodness she was that she wrote so much of it at an early age, so she could publish those books because she wouldn't have known this, of course, but she was going to die so young.
Yeah.
young.
What? I wonder if that was young back then.
Maybe it wasn't.
Like it was. I
Surely
think it
that's
was still young,
a bit
but it's
young.
probably not crazy notable. You know.
Maybe it's like dying at 60 now. Like it's like, oh, that's so young, but it's not like dying at 20.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look up.
I think we're still at this point. We're still at a tragic age to die.
Oh, yeah, it's tragic.
These are tragedy.
It's trage.
It's trage.
It would be trage.
Looking up,
Trage wife.
In the 1850s, the average age of death was 42, but more than 25% of children died before the age of 5.
Oh, so that's why it was the average.
Yeah, but for
Yeah,
those
okay,
who
that-
survived, the average of death was closer to 57.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she was young.
Yeah. But that's sad.
Yeah.
Listen.
But, you know, her works live on, and like they would probably, it's a crazy thing to think about. There probably wouldn't be a moment ever now where someone's not reading her work somewhere in the
Yeah.
world.
That's crazy.
Which is wild.
That is.
yeah, wow. That's magnificent.
Cool.
Good for her.
Good on her.
Good job.
Good for her.
Well, I'm going to read one of these little books.
Get onto
that
it.
everyone thinks is so bloody good.
We'll find
I'll
out.
be the judge of that.
See if you get hooked.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Nice. There's so much for you to discover.
I know, it's so nice.
I'm going to do another one on Book Cheat soon. So
Have you done unrelated? Have you done Little Women?
I haven't. No, I've got a copy of it though.
Who is that by? A Bronte sister?
Louisa May Alcott, I believe her name is.
Oh, there's more of these
It's
women.
not Bronte. No. Little Women is American.
Is it?
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I've never watched Little Women.
Never seen Little Women.
I don't like anything from before 1981.
Okay.
As in
Watching.
set.
Yeah.
Oh, set the setting. Okay.
Set. Yeah. I'm always like, ah.
I'm the same, but I did love Greta's Little Women.
Yeah, I should watch it.
That one's
Oh
great.
yeah, I watched it. That was good.
It's really
I don't
nice.
know why I'm so biased. I need to sort it out. I know I'm wrong. I just
think
want to
it's-
say that. I know I'm wrong.
One thing I struggle with is I can't help but be watching it, obviously, through a modern lens, and the whole, like, I'm just a woman and I'm lost without a man. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I have no interest in this.
Yeah. The stakes don't feel real.
think
I
you'd
also
probably-
don't like the language, and I don't like what you're wearing, and so I'm always like, come on, let's.
Okay, there's
Come
not
on!
a lot left if you don't like the characters, what they're wearing, or what they're saying.
And I don't like the look of the
But
scenery.
I think you possibly would enjoy Pride and Prejudice a bit more because she's making fun a bit of that stuff.
Yes,
I'm going to watch
And
Pride and
the-
Prejudice.
and
I'm
the-
gonna watch it too.
Not going to read it, but I'll watch it.
I'm gonna watch Pride and Prejudice. I'm gonna read Emma.
Yeah, good one.
That sounds like a good order.
That's my pledge. That's my pledge.
Hold her to that.
Okay. And maybe I'll do Sense and Sensibility on Book Cheat.
Yeah. There you go. We've done it.
Beautiful.
We've done Jane Austen.
Tick.
We did it.
Move on. Let's do the Bronte sisters next.
To the Bronte sisters.
How about before we get to everyone's favourite section of the show, we're going to tell everyone that, Michelle, you are on tour.
On tour, as the French say.
Yeah. That's how they say it.
That's how they say
Yeah,
it.
you've got shows in various places. Tell us about them.
I'm doing a show in Adelaide. I'm doing several shows in Adelaide, actually. One of them is at the Adelaide Fringe. Very, very excited. And I'm an ambassador for Adelaide Fringe, so please get along to the Adelaide
Whoa.
Fringe. Love the Fringe. Absolutely adore it. Got my start there. Adore it. Very excited. And then I am going to Perth and Canberra. And then the other two Adelaide shows are secret, but you'll find out about them if you go to my newsletter.
Oh, very
And
exciting.
to sign up. But you could, as always, get my book and give it 5 stars on Goodreads. That's an activity. That's just an activity suggestion. And sign up for my newsletter.
Yeah, you got something. You got a quiet weekend, and you're like, "What am I going to do this weekend?" Get Michelle's book, give it 5 stars, and newsletter.
Yeah,
Great.
Sign up for the newsletter.
Absolutely do that.
Stream my music on the internet. Just generally contribute to my income stream and general well-being and sense of confidence.
Yep,
That would be
It's
great.
always nice.
that'd be great.
Yeah. It's nice.
It's a bit much for me to mention that I'm also on tour.
It is a bit
That's
much. Yeah, we are going to have to
beautiful.
move on.
Yes.
No, go on. Tell us about
All right.
it.
I'm also going to be in Adelaide for the Fringe.
Yes. Hell yeah.
And also for the Adelaide Festival, I'm doing a live book cheat for Writers Week on
oh, that's great.
a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Thursday, March the 6th, and I might even tell you about the Day of the Triffids. I've decided what I'm going to do there, but I have been doing that. So you can get tickets for that at the Adelaide Festival, but I'm going to be the same week at the Fringe Festival doing my new show with Sammy Peterson. Dave Warnocky dates the entire audience.
Fun.
An interactive show where you are on your phone, tell us what you want to do next, and see if we fall in love.
That's beautiful.
So that's in Adelaide, and then there's one night only in Sydney. That's on March the 15th. And then I'm doing the first 2 weeks with Sammy at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. And I'd love to see you there.
Can't wait. Do you think I'd be one of, like, what I was about to say was going to sound really rude.
One of the few people to see the show 10 years ago. So
Yeah, but
it's
that's
a
not what I meant. I
No,
meant, like, to see both. Like, I've been a fan of yours for 10 years.
Yes,
that's lovely.
I think that
Most of your fans drop off at about
oh my
5-year
God.
mark.
Most of them are dead.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them have
You let
died.
him down.
Early on, you were really appealing to 90-year-olds.
Yeah, really. That was my demographic. And
Yeah.
I thought these people have money.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Who's got money?
a few of them left me in their will, which has been nice.
That's good.
But now the income has stopped.
Yeah.
So I need to go to a younger audience.
Yep.
But not too young because I will be dating them. 18 plus, please.
18
Yeah,
plus,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, plus, please.
We want these
wait.
dates to be appropriate.
So
yeah,
yes,
can I also say for Melbourne International Comedy Festival, I will be doing on the 19th of April comedians on stage auditioning for musicals. It's one night only. It always sells out. It's fucking packed. If you don't get a ticket, there's nothing I can do, but it will be at the Festival Club.
It's really fun.
It's really fun.
be there.
Be there or be square.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
So it's time now, I believe, to move on to everyone's favourite section of the show, the moment that people have been waiting for. They've waited through all this Jane Austen bullshit to get to the Patreon section of the show, which I believe, Jess, has a jingle that might go a little something like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
If we were auditioning, would we have got the job?
No.
Damn it.
We are not good singers.
But we are very attractive.
Everyone can
Jess is good at
technically sing.
harmonising.
No, I'm not.
She is.
Well, I am if I've heard the harmony many, many times and I can copy it. But then if Michelle harmonises with me, I then follow Michelle. So I'm,
I think you're really good at holding your own on a melody when I take a harm.
Thank
and
you
not
so much.
everyone can do that.
Again, only if I know the song very well.
Well, that's fine.
That's something. Anyway,
Bit of practice.
honestly, when Michelle says I've done well singing something, I go like, But inside I'm going, yes, 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 yes. I go home, I tell Aiden about it.
This feels
I don't
so
do that, but
fucking good right now.
I feel so good.
This feels so fucking good right now.
I want to be a great singer. And
You
I do
are a
nothing
great
about
singer.
it. So, yes, this is a section where people get to submit facts, quotes, questions, brags, suggestions. What did we have recently that was a first? We had a definition. We've had anecdotes. We've had banter. We've had anything. So, this is really up to the people who support us at Do Go On Pod. No, at patreon.com/Do Go On Pod.
That's right.
On the Sydney Scheinberg level or above. Is that correct?
For a shout out or for this?
For this.
Oh, Sydney Scheinberg, the deluxe package that is.
That's right. So we've got 3. Do you want to take turns, Dave? Or do you want me to read them?
So I've got it open.
I'll kick us off. Our first fact quote question comes from Colin Wright. Colin has given themselves the title of... Oh, you also get to give yourself a title. Colin's title is Master of Science in Marriage and Family Therapy and one half of the Bragg brothers.
Ooh.
It's exciting.
Brag away.
And Colin has given us a farewell. Interesting.
Oh. Is he leaving the Patreon?
No, he's.
Colin?
It looks
dying?
like it says in brackets moved to Dreamboat. I think he is downgrading on Patreon,
Then that's fine.
which is absolutely fine. It's also fine to leave Patreon.
I don't think it's fine.
My
I think they
gut
should
feeling
keep
was also
supporting
dying,
you.
and then I felt bad about that, so that's why I was like, "Oh, is he leaving Patreon?"
Yeah, because imagine if you said, "Is he dying?" and then his whole thing is
Yes.
about how he's been given months to live, and you'd feel
We
really
would
bad.
have to take it out.
We would edit that out.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, but it's a long one. Here we go.
Oh.
Hi, gang. This fact quote question comes to you in 3 mostly brief parts. Number 1, over 2 years ago now, I bragged on here that I'd gotten into a very competitive marriage and family therapy master's program. Since then, I think I've been too busy to write in much, but as you may have surmised from the title, I am now done with the program and am a licensed practicing therapist.
Congrats.
Woo!
You guys and the pod have provided a lot of much-needed levity after managing some tough stuff in my work. Number 2, this will be my last fact quota question for the foreseeable future. So thanks for all the great times and shout out to Lee, the other half of the Bragg brothers, who got me onto the pod with the Annie Oakley episode back in the day.
Oh, a little bit short shot.
I'll miss being on the Sydney Scheinberg Memorial Rest in Peace level, but I will still be in the Triptych Club since I can never leave. But why would I want to? Correct.
Exactly,
Correct.
Colin.
And 3, finally, since I love you guys in the most healthy parasocial way possible, will you tell us about a childhood memory from each of you that always brings some warmth and joy into your soul when you think of it? We always ask people to answer their own question, and Colin has done that. One of mine is playing Lego with my brothers in our old farmhouse in Wisconsin. Every minifigure we owned was a unique individual with a complicated backstory and narratives that intertwined and spanned generations. Those stories helped us become as close as we still are today.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
so
I love
nice.
Really
this.
sweet.
Wow.
Okay, does anybody have a childhood memory that brings you warmth?
Just because of the toy factor there, I've got one of we had Action Man.
Yeah.
Remember Action Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like a G.I. Joe sort of Ken doll sized guy.
You just reminded me of one of my... Yep, go.
I have a memory of me and a friend from primary school sticky taping string to Action Man and sticky taping string to the fan in my bedroom and putting it on high and just watching him fly. Like, so dangerous. I could have smashed the window.
Just
and
going,
yeah, Action Man! Yeah. So that thing. And I hadn't thought about that. Colin's memory made me think of that. So
Yeah.
thank you, because I hadn't thought about that in a long time.
That's really nice. Your memory reminded me... I had one ready to go, but another one is... They're both about my brother, but... I had a lot of Barbies and I only had one Ken. I was less interested in Ken. But Ken's head popped off.
Oh, no.
And we couldn't, try as we might, we couldn't get Ken's head to stay on.
no.
So we had a funeral for Ken. Just my brother. And my brother's 7 years older than me too. So you have to remember he's probably like pre-teen or almost a teenager.
That's so nice.
And we've gone out into the backyard and he's buried Ken in the backyard but stuck his arm out. So there was just a little Ken doll arm sticking out in the backyard. Very funny stuff.
That's so good.
Very cute.
I
but
love
yeah,
that.
Michelle, do you have a memory you would like to share?
I spent my childhood in the willow trees around the lake, which is true. But yeah, I was literally just sitting there trying to think of like, what's a nice childhood memory? And I was like, you literally spent it in the trees on your own, which is strange and odd and has forced me to sort of confront some stuff about why I'm in such an attention-seeking profession. But I think we're like the best one is like when I was, I don't know, like 9 years old, my brother snuck me into the cinema. My brother's a lot older than me, and he snuck me into the cinema to see Austen Powers.
Oh, that is, yeah, baby.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, my
And
God.
I was like, what? I had no idea anything could be this cool. And it was one of the happiest moments of my entire
being
life.
the younger sibling rules.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's the only way to do it.
I wouldn't
Agreed.
do it any other way.
We're three youngest here.
Yeah.
But Michelle and I Michelle's siblings are a lot older, and
Yeah.
my brother's 7 years
15 and 12 years older than me.
Your sister and you are a bit closer in age. So it's still the youngest is absolutely the best, but having quite a lot older siblings means you get to do stuff that you shouldn't be able to do, but your parents
Yeah.
also kind of allow it.
They're just like, oh, whatever.
Go on.
My sister took me to see Cruel Intentions in 1999. I was like, I don't know, 8. Like I was very young.
Had a lot of questions coming out of the cinema.
Yeah. No, I had no questions. I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get sex now.
This all makes complete sense to me.
And perhaps that's why I spent the rest of my childhood in those willow trees. Wise beyond my years.
That's so nice. Thank you, Colin. Dave, do you want to read it or do you want me to keep
Yes,
going?
no, I've got one from Sophie Tudor here, who has given themselves the title of Group Mum, obviously. We love Sophie's work
We love Sophie.
in the group as the Group Mum. Now, it's a question. The question is, I asked this in the Facebook group and got so many replies, so I thought I'd ask you guys too. If I was coming to your local area, what would you recommend I do/see, and where would you recommend I go for a meal?
I love this.
Sophie's answered their own question. My answer is my actual town has nothing, but in the surrounding areas, there are stunning countryside walks, a transport museum with a Concorde,
Whoa. Oh, yes.
which Matt and I have actually been to with Sophie, which
yeah.
is very exciting. It was awesome. Quaint villages, more countryside, and I'm only half an hour by train to central London. Dude, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
For food, I'd suggest Valentina in Weybridge. Absolutely delicious pastas, along with all other Italian foods and drinks and desserts. Delightful.
Oh,
Wow.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I love that.
Valentina and Weybridge. That sounds very nice.
I struggle a little bit with Melbourne because I feel like there are cities that you go to and there's like landmarks you have to go see. And I feel like we don't really have many of those unless you're like into sport and you want to see the MCG. That's really cool. Even if you're not into sport, it's kind of interesting, I guess. But like, I think it's more a city to just kind of walk around.
Yeah.
It's just about being in it.
Yeah, I'll take you to De Graves Street.
Yep.
I'll take you to Flinders Lane. Like, yeah, I'll take you to Laneways. I'm taking
Botanical
you
Gardens, NGV,
NGV. I fucking
the
love
National Gallery
NGV.
of Victoria. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
Beautiful stuff. I'm taking you on a walk near Collingwood Children's Farm. Visit the cows, look at the waterfall, look at the
Sometimes there's sheep.
beautiful time. Sometimes there's sheep.
My dog tries to fight the sheep.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Thinking,
And what were you going to say?
sorry, I'm thinking of. I
I
went to back to my childhood memories again. I think I'd be taking you to
Action
the
Man.
one, yeah. We're getting one Action Man, one piece of string, and a fan. I'd be taking you to the Yarra River in Warrandyte, where you can have a little swim, and then because I went to school in this area, and then go to the Warrandyte Bakery, and I'd buy you a steak and onion pie,
Ooh.
or if you don't eat meat, a spinach and ricotta roll. They're both absolutely fantastic.
Delish.
Washed down with a chocolate Nippies milk.
Yum, I love nippies.
That's-
I've never had a Nippies.
Haven't you?
Their
Do
iced
you
coffee's
like
very good.
flavoured milks?
I love it. Listen, the most important thing to me in the entire world is Cocoa Bella coconut water cacao flavored.
Oh, really love that stuff. Yeah.
It's so important and special to me because it tastes like a milkshake, but it's like lower in calories, and I can have more of it.
Oh, I can't guarantee you the lower calories from Nippies, but I can
That's
guarantee
okay.
a
I know,
fantastic
that's fine.
creamy chocolate.
I
taste.
love
so
a
good.
fantastic
Can we
creamy.
try and get a Nippies after this?
Fuck yeah.
You can get a Nippies. Bar Margot is where I'll take someone, actually. Bar Margot. You can get a beggar's banquet between, I think it's 5 and 7 p.m. They used to do it between 10 and midnight, which is so sad that they don't do that anymore. But you get 2 glasses of champagne, a bunch of, like, you get chips, you get they do some sort of something if you eat meat, but if they don't, they do like other stuff. They do vegetarian options. They do different ones all the time, but they also do oysters. So it's like oysters, chips, and a glass of actual champagne, and it's $40 each.
Oh,
That's really good.
That's
It's
very
really
good.
And it's a beautiful place, and the service is gorgeous. I really like it.
Gosh, whereabouts is that?
It's up the top end of like it's near the Comedy Theatre.
Yeah, great. Oh,
Yeah.
man, gotta check that out. Sounds
Beautiful.
awesome.
It's a good question.
Yes, great.
Mm.
I can't think of where else. But yeah, just
Cumulus Ink for a
just-
glass of orange wine. Always do
nice.
that.
Just walk around.
Walk around.
It's a beautiful city.
Go around.
We like
Enjoy
it.
yourself.
here.
Around.
Thank you, Sophie. Finally, our third and final fact quota question for this week comes from Adam Trapczynski. Adam's given themselves the title official record holder for longest Do Go On fact quota question title holder, FKA mover, shaker, and producer, and current father to Do Go On's cutest baby, as stated in previous fact quota question. And Adam has a brag.
Okay.
Hey guys, not sure if this can be categorized as a brag, but I was listening to the Genghis Khan episode and you guys mentioned 9 years of doing the show. I don't know why I never connected this before, but Do Go On almost perfectly lines up with my wife and I's relationship. The first episode was released on November 10, 2015, and I asked my now wife to be my girlfriend on November 15th, 2015.
Oh my gosh, we did that.
How crazy is that? I've listened to this show almost as long as my relationship now. Now it's time to find out who'll last longer, you guys or her. So the competition starts now.
Whoa.
Then he says in capitals, keep me entertained. Lol, thanks for the laughs and have a nice Christmas, New Year's, or even Easter. I don't know, depending when this is read out. Yeah, it will be a nice Easter. Thank you. Interesting. Can we outlive their relationship?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, do we have to focus on our longevity or focus on trying to split them up?
Try to split them up.
Yeah, I think that's probably
what
the
I'm
smartest
doing.
move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've actually heard from Adam's wife and she said she's not happy.
She's
So-
not. Yeah. She's been talking about Mr. Darcy.
I think there's somebody at work she's really interested in.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. She was saying that. Anyway, we probably shouldn't say
Oh,
that on
that's
the pod.
sorry. That was just girl
Yeah,
talk.
yeah,
Edit that
yeah,
out,
yeah.
AJ.
Yeah.
Got it.
Just between us girls.
Just between us girls.
That's good on you guys.
It's not even my podcast.
Thank you so much to our fact quarter questions. The next thing we need to do is give people a shout out. Now, this is for people on the shout out level or above, and we read their names out. We usually come up with a bit of a game. Maybe could we name their book?
Yeah. Let's name their
the book that they've written.
Love it.
Or should we give them a Jane Austen name?
Like what?
Like Terence Featherby.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, let's give them Jane Austen names.
Love it.
That's better.
Thanks.
Do you want to go one for one here?
Let's do it.
All right, you kick it off.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank, from a location that is withheld from us, can only imagine it's deep within the Fortress of the Moles. Thank you to The Wild Eagle.
Okay.
The Wild Eagle. He's looking up Jane Austen name generator.
Yeah.
The Wild Eagle.
That's so funny if you could.
The Wildebeest Eagleton Downs.
Yes.
Sir Wildebeest Eagleton.
That's actually, Eagleton is incredible.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really fucking good at my own game. I'm a writer.
You're a writer. And
Premier's Literary Award nomination.
Oh my goodness.
She can't be stopped.
Can't be stopped. Well, I'll stop if I don't win.
Oh my God, when do we find out?
March something.
Okay.
Exciting.
Fingers
There's a
crossed.
People's Choice. But that's not the big one.
But can we still vote now?
Yeah, you can still vote. Please do.
Next up, from Mile End in South Australia, I would love to shout out Violetta. Or Violetta.
That's already a really good one.
What about Lydia DeBerg?
Any relation to Chris?
Yes.
Lydia de Berg.
Yeah.
I love that. And is that the maiden name, or has Lydia become a de Berg?
Oh, she's married into
Married
the
into the
DeBergs.
de Berg fortune.
Who cares
Of
about
the
her maiden
upper de
name?
Berg.
Oh my, upper de Berg. Oh my goodness, Lady in Red. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Violetta. I would like to thank from Cows, Victoria, Phillip Island.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Thank you to Cats.
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 Oh.
That's with a Z.
Yes. I've got one here.
Yep.
Catherine Camelford.
Oh, that's good. married into, or?
No, that's Maiden.
And
doesn't want to change, so not going to get married.
Oh, yeah.
Go
no.
off.
That's back then, unacceptable. Now, very cool. Or do whatever the fuck you want. Who cares? Who cares? Old people care. Next up, trust me, they won't fucking stop talking to you about it. Next up, I'd love to thank from Arbuckle, incredible, California, Beth Richardson.
Oh, great.
So
she can say Beth.
Elizabeth.
Yeah,
is good.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
What about Wentworth of Highbury?
Oh, my God. Elizabeth Wentworth of Highbury.
That's pretty good.
Young lady.
Elizabeth Wentworth, I present to you Elizabeth Wentworth of Highbury. I forgot what you said.
Wentworth of Highbury.
I've lost my job as a town crier.
That does seem like a hard job because in the movies they just kind of like it gets whispered to them and then they shout it out.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That's
So
crazy.
can you say that again?
Yeah, I'd be like, how do you?
What?
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Isn't that how Robert Downey Jr. does his lines or something?
whispered to him.
Like an earpiece or something?
There's just a man. Yeah, I think it was like an earpiece because he doesn't want to know ahead of time what happens. Is that him? There's like an actor who has
I
that.
think,
And I'm like,
like,
that sounds really fun.
We've talked about it on the show back in the day, Marlon Brando when he was old.
Yeah.
And
Maybe it's Marlon
couldn't
Brando.
be bothered, like people just whisper in his ear.
That's
be
amazing.
bothered.
Couldn't be bothered.
He's like,
No.
I'm just completely over it.
Stuff this.
Incredibly difficult to work with towards the end. I would like to thank from a location also withheld from us. People, trust us. We're not going to use your address. I would like to thank R.E. Fields. What about Marianne McWilloughby?
Ooh.
Marianne McWilloughby.
Yeah, I
That's
like
pretty
that.
good.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
That's maiden, and she is going to upgrade.
Yeah.
Because McWilloughby, they don't sound rich.
No, that sound very rich. They
Yeah.
sound...
McWilloughbys are farmers.
Yeah.
They're okay.
And like the farm's doing okay. There's food on the table.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're not buying 69-pound books.
Yeah, unfortunately, they have to
No.
work for a living, which is obviously disgusting.
Yuck.
Yuck.
Yeah. How
Yuck.
embarrassing. I would like to thank from Concord in New Hampshire, I assume, in the US, Katrina Boyajane.
What a lovely name, Boyajane.
Do you reckon that's how that looks? How that might
So
be?
let's say Katarina
Oh, yeah, that's good.
or Catherine.
Yep.
Deborgian. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes,
I
Catherine Benedict Cumberbatch.
think that's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow, no relation.
She hyphenated. She was Catherine Benedict.
And now
She married a guy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Robert
She
Cumberbatch.
I was
married
going to say Nelson.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Nelson's great.
Not back then. Did they have Nelsons back then? She married Benedict Cumberbatch, and she was
Yeah.
like, "That's funny because my last name's Benedict, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna hyphenate, and then I've got your name in
Yeah.
my name. That's
Beautiful.
romantic."
I would like to
Dave.
thank from Cerritos, California. It's Megan or Megan Young.
Megan. They're not going to be a Megan back then, I reckon.
Did they have
Maria.
Megs?
Maria. Oh yeah, but Meg would be. Oh yeah. No,
don't know.
I don't think they had a
Maria?
Meg. We're going Maria. Rushworth.
Oh,
Rushworth Long.
Yep.
Maria Rushworth Long.
I like that a lot.
I like that.
Well done, Megan. Megan, thank you so much.
What is this one? I would love to thank from Foresters Beach in New South Wales, Bicky Wang Chang.
Wow, that's the best name I've ever heard.
the
That
best
is
name I've
really
ever
good.
heard.
I don't think we need to change that. That feels very Austen.
That sounds ostentatious.
That sounds ostentatious.
I'm gonna
Bicky Wang Chang.
Bicky Wang Chang ostentatious.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
That's such a good name.
Bicky Wang Chang, ostentatious, I presume.
That rules.
The Lady Bicky Wang Chang ostentatious.
Finally, I'd like to thank from Edinburgh. Thank you to Alex Perry.
Famous sunglass designer.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Alexandra. I don't know why we've made them all female, but we have.
It's just easier.
Alexandra.
Alexandra Periwinkle.
Oh, that's
Love
good.
it. Perfect.
Perfect. Absolutely nailed that. Final thing. Oh, no. Thank you once again before I move on to Alex, Bicky Wang Chang, Megan, Katrina, R.E. Fields, Beth, Katz, Violetta, and the Wild Eagle. Final thing we need to do is welcome some people into the Triptych Club. Now, this is for people who have supported us on Patreon for 3 consecutive years. I was about to say 10 consecutive years. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
3 consecutive years on the shout-out level or above. It's a cool, fun lounge. We have everything you could possibly need.
Yes, it's awesome in there.
It's actually pretty great, and we are doing some renos.
We're making it even better.
Making it better.
Yeah.
I did break one of the toilets, so we're fixing that up, and then
She doesn't like to talk about
I
it.
don't like to talk about it. It was a whoopsie daisy. Let's not dwell on it. I'm fixing it, but it is broken and it stinks in there. But let's not dwell. I got myself there. That's funny. So we have a few people to welcome into the Trip Niche Club. Normally I'm behind the bar and I come up with sort of snacks and drinks, but actually Michelle's taking over this week because I'm going to be Matt and I've got the clipboard and I can't do two things at once. So yeah, Michelle, I gave you heaps of notice on this. Have you prepared any kind of snacks or
Oh, yeah.
beverage specials or something?
Yeah, when you announce the person, I'll tell you what cocktail I've prepared for him.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, great. That's even easier. Dave, you normally book a band as well?
Yes, you're never going to believe it, Michelle.
Oh,
You're never going to. I obviously book these bands months in advance.
obviously.
And I don't think these are even a band anymore, but Jane's Addiction are here.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
no, I got it.
Jane's
I fucking
Addiction.
got it. That's crazy. What a coincidence because we talked about Jane Austen.
It's such a coincidence.
Wow.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read out the names. Dave, you hype them up. Michelle's going to give them a cocktail. That's her way of hyping you up as well.
Yep.
Oh, great. You're going to hand them a cocktail and say, hey, here's some.
And
Here's
they're
some for you.
each getting an individual cocktail,
Oh, I
which
love
I think
this
is
so
really
much.
cool.
Yeah.
Are we ready to welcome some people in? We
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
5 inductees. So first up, from Address Unknown, Fortress of the Moles, Kathleen Kaiser.
I don't despise her. It's Kathleen Kaiser.
Here's your pina colada.
Glass, save one for me, please.
No, Dave. From London in Great Britain, it's Reina Ramirez.
When it rains, it pours.
Raina, here's your pina colada.
From Underdale in South Australia, it's Ryan Standing.
More like Ryan Outstanding.
Yes.
In his field.
Pina colada
Oh,
for the
that's
lad.
right.
From Croydon in Victoria, it's Matt Sparkman.
Oh, I felt the sparks were flying tonight, Matt
Yeah.
Sparkman.
Strong pina
Go strong
colada.
one. And finally, from Elkhart in Indiana, I'm guessing James Roscos.
More like James Roscos and roll, baby.
Yeah.
Your pina colada with no cherry.
Okay, no cherry for James. Thank you and welcome, James, Matt, Ryan, Raina, Kathleen. Welcome in. Make yourself at home. The toilet that is blocked off, you cannot use that one.
Don't
There
use
are
that.
3 others. Stop asking me about this toilet.
There's nothing going on in there. Stop asking.
But give it a wide berth. It stinks.
It stinks. Because of a big poo.
No. We don't know why it stinks.
I think it smells like poo.
It smells.
That's why I have to make these overpowering pina coladas.
It's just a general stink. It could be something else.
Anything could have caused that rancid smell.
And at the same time, damage the toilet beyond repair.
Not beyond repair, but the repairman says it's going to take a while.
He did say we need to bulldoze this thing and start again.
He said it would be easier.
He said it would be easier, but he didn't make any promises about the smell. Look, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us on this
Thank you.
insane
Thank you
episode.
so much.
We love you so much. Where can people find it? Where do you want people to go to find information about all the shows, your book, all the wonderful stuff that you do?
Michelle Brasier on Instagram, Michelle Brasier on TikTok, Michelle Brasier on my newsletter, on my Substack, and go to your local bookshop and ask them for my book. So grow up.
Grow up, figure it out. You're an adult.
Yeah. Get the audiobook. Don't say, I don't reach. Get the audiobook.
Listen to
I read
it.
it out loud for you. I read you a bedtime story and it's my whole life.
If you're listening to this, you can listen to an audiobook.
Yep.
If you want to suggest a topic, you can. There's a link in the show notes where you can also find our website, where you can find merch and live shows and our other podcasts that we do on this beautiful network that
That's
we've
right.
created.
If you want to double down and get some Jane Austen into you, there's a couple of book cheats ready to go.
Yeah, that I remember.
You're going to go back and listen. I know you will.
Hook
Yep.
in.
So, Dave, boot this baby home.
We will be back next week with another fantastic episode. The main man, Matt Stewart, will be back. But until then, I'll say thank you so much for listening and goodbye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now boarding Group A. Please have your boarding passes ready to scan. If your phone is cracked, old, or was chewed up by your Chihuahua travel companion, please refrain from holding up the line. And instead, simply go to Verizon and trade in any phone in any condition from one of their top brands for the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus with Galaxy AI on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch or Tap, also on them.
Service plan required for Watch or Tap. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Don't forget to sign up to our tour mailing list so we know where in the world you are and we can come and tell you when we're coming there.
Wherever we go, we always hear 6 months later, oh, you should come to Manchester. We were just in Manchester.
We were just there, but this way you'll never miss out. And don't forget to sign up, go to our Instagram, click our link tree. Very, very easy.
It means we know to come to you, and you'll also know that we're coming to you.
Yeah, we'll come to you, you come to us. Very good.
And we give you a spam-free guarantee.